Yeah, I don't think. Oh, wait, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, probably.
This is what you did last time.
Yeah, this is where we have some fun times and try and see if it actually works. I think it's working now.
So can anybody watch us? If you can hear us and see us, can you send us a message, because we're not sure?
Or not. No, I think it's going to automatically start at 9 now. No, not 9, 7.
Okay, we've got a couple of people saying hi. If you can watch this, if you're watching this, can you tell us whether you can see us and hear us?
Yeah, this is where we have some fun times and try and see if it actually works.
Is there anybody out there? So can anybody watch us? If you can hear us and see us, can you send us a message? Hopefully, if anybody's watching this, can they just say hi and they can hear us?
So that yes, the audio works this time.
Great, because last time I didn't. We've got a few people watching. If you can watch this, so hi to, we already had a couple of people, Midwest of the USA, hi Flyboy, to all our friends in the US, anybody out there, all the best. Can anybody watch us? If you can hear us, and we may be one country united by, hopefully if anybody's united by a common language, say hi and they can hear us. Hello to all our friends in the US.
Yes, the audio works this time.
Quick thing to say to start. Okay, so we got to finish all of the subs. So hi to, we already had a troll, Midwest of the USA, hi Flyboy, to all our friends in the US, anybody out there, all the best. Can anybody watch us? If you can hear us, we have quite a few moderators. Hopefully if anybody's united by a common language, say hi and they can hear us. Hello to all our friends in the US.
Yes, the audio works this time.
Or anything else. Quick thing to say that okay, so we got to finish all of the subs. So hi, we're here to entertain Midwest of the USA. This is the best social distance all I can do in the US. The camera. But we've been in the same halfway here. We have quite a few moderators. Hopefully, if anybody's united by a common language, say hi and can hear us. Hello to our friends in the US. A few of you know I've been looking at. Quick thing to say that okay, so we got to finish all of the subs. So hi, we're here to entertain Midwest of the USA. This is the best social distance all I can do. So we're here to talk about trains. We've been in the same halfway here. We have quite a few moderators. Hopefully, if anybody united by a common language, say hi and can hear us. Hello to our friends in the US. A few of you know I've been looking at. Quick thing to say that okay, so we got to finish all of the subs. So hi, we're here to entertain Midwest of the USA. This is the best social distance all I can do. So we're here to talk about trains. We've been in the same halfway here. We have quite a few moderators. Hopefully, if anybody united by a common language, say hi and can hear us. Hello to our friends in the US. A few of you know I've been looking at. Quick thing to say that okay, so we got to finish all of the subs. So hi, we're here to entertain Midwest of the USA. This is the best social distance all I can do. So we're here to talk about trains. We've been in the same halfway here. We have quite a few moderators. Hopefully, if anybody united by a common language, say hi and can hear us. Hello to our friends in the US. A few of you know I've been looking at. Quick thing to say that okay, so we got to finish all of the subs. So hi, we're here to entertain Midwest of the USA. This is the best social distance all I can do. So we're here to talk about trains. We've been in the same halfway here. We have quite a few moderators. Hopefully, if anybody united by a common language, say hi and can hear us. Hello to our friends in the US. A few of you know I've been looking at. Quick thing to say.
I was being stupid. It's all good. It'll work now.
What's that?
I had the tab open.
Yeah, that's what somebody said there.
Yeah, thank you to who was it? Model Minutes. Yeah, I had the tab open with our stream on.
Is it okay now, please?
Yeah,
we'll continue on the belief that it's okay.
Right.
There's obviously a lot of you watching.
Come on. It's going to take 30 seconds to reset. Oh.
We'll pause for a minute.
It's getting worse.
What's Tink saying?
I think we're saying it's not working. Fixed. Hey!
Fixed. Right. Thank you, Model Train fan.
Right.
It's fixed. Now we can start.
So is this audio okay, or should we put the other mics back in now?
No. Can you hear us all the way? No. Everybody's saying yeah. Just leave it alone. Don't touch a thing. Right. I'm going to just repeat what we said at the beginning. We've done this to try and entertain people as well as ourselves. We're here to talk about model railways and nothing but model railways. Last time we had to finish the live stream early because we were at election time, and unfortunately a load of left-wing people decided to bombard us with comments about politics, so we had to shut the live stream down. If you're watching this and you're not interested in model trains, we do not want comments about politics, coronavirus or anything else. We're here, please, just to talk about model trains.
We've got moderators, we've got the chat up, you will be removed or blocked.
Yeah, so let's have some. So can we have some questions, please, about budget model railways, whatever we do. What I'll just start with, I'll just show you this. This is something I've been working on while I've been isolated. So this is the old Triang high mech. And what I've done is I've painted the grills black, painted the roof black, picked the windows out in white, dry brushed dirt all over it. We'll get it on one of the layouts, but it actually looks completely different. The amazing thing is that for what is, I think, getting on for a 40-year-old loco, it's not as old as I am, I think, it runs beautifully. Took it apart, gave everything an oil, bit of 3-in-1 oil, and cleaned all the wheels, cleaned up the contacts, gave the motor a good spray with WD-40, and it runs beautifully, smoothly and quietly. So if you see one of those about, I wouldn't pay the silly prices some people are asking for them. We did comment a little while ago how eBay had got ridiculously expensive. I can only assume some poor people are paying those prices because there's a lot of overcharging going on at the moment.
Hello, Richard Drew, channel member.
Hi guys, so we've got lots. How long will this be on for? About an hour, because at 8 o'clock we've got the. I don't know if you do it in your own countries, but in the UK, 8 o'clock everybody goes outside and does a big round of applause for the NHS and the food workers and everybody that's getting us through. If we're doing really well and we've got loads of people watching, what we might do is clap here and ask you to all do the same at home, but probably no more than an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. Hello to Canada.
Tracy Burgess, another channel member.
Jolly good. How are things across the pond? Yeah, I know America's. I think we're all in the same boat, aren't we? So, hopefully everybody's getting some model railways done. What's our preferred way of making roads? Black sandpaper painted black is the honest answer, or dark grey. Dark grey is actually better. Tarmac is actually dark grey, not black. And use ordinary self-adhesive printer labels cut up to make the road markings. I certainly wouldn't pay the very high prices for some of the ready-made roads that are really only printed paper and card that people are charging. I would use something like sandpaper, even ordinary cereal packet card painted grey. In fact, one of the best things I did was roofing felt painted grey, which comes up really good.
Donald Thompson just purchased one of our new diesel shunt kits. What's the best adhesive to use?
Cheap super glue, or use tube polystyrene cement and give it a while to dry. All the people that use liquid poly cements, they won't work. They evaporate. The plastic is too hard and they evaporate before it glues. You can't melt it in the way that you could with some kids. It's a hard plastic. But super glue is the best actually, just cheap pound super glue.
Why is Hornby Set Track not as popular as Pico? Because Pico is way better.
The track is fine. There's nothing wrong with Hornby track.
Points.
The Hornby points, the plastic frog is too big. So any loco with not enough pickups on it will stall on the points. One of the problems we've got with the shunting layout we've just made and the harbour one I'm just making is I've actually got 7 left-hand Pico points and no right-hand. And obviously I can't get out to buy any second-hand because I don't buy new. The Hornby points just have too big a plastic frog. That's the real answer. Obviously, those of you watching in the US where you have these wonderful locos with all-wheel drive, all-wheel pickup, won't know what we're talking about. But in the UK, unfortunately, for all sorts of odd reasons, our locos tend to have pickups on one bogie or perhaps 2 wheels of a loco. And of course, it means if you have a 5-6mm 1/4-inch plastic frog, they just stop. Because they don't put flywheels on the motors either. I've got a lovely Mahano loco made for the American market. Weighs a ton, 2 whacking great flywheels on the motor. All-wheel drive, all-wheel pickup. You can crawl it across points. But unfortunately, the UK outline, it makes a difference.
Do you want to just say about the slow mode?
Oh, so we're on slow mode. So if anybody wonders why they can't put a comment after a comment, to give us a chance to catch up with the people putting silly comments, you can do a comment a minute. Right, what else do we got here?
Someone builds in their own layout to take to events, Midlands Train Adventures.
My cat just knocked down my scratch-built engine shed. That's why we don't have pets.
Who
That's
was
the
that?
fact. I'm allergic to pet hair. Yeah, wet and dry paper's perfect for roads. Yeah, sorry about your engine shed. Favourite layout we've built. I'm like, as I say, all rock stars say their favourite album is the last one they worked on. But genuinely, the shunting layout we've just built, because it's so detailed. My favourite layout will always be Green Hill Halt, because that was the layout me and Doug built when he was 10 or 11 that we exhibited and got us into model railways. So that will always be my favourite. But at the moment, the shunting layout, I was out there last night for over an hour shunting, and it's just great. It works. It does exactly what I wanted it to do.
Richard Drew, I have a large Airfix Prairie, same as yours. It was running slowly, so cleaned it. Now it doesn't run at all.
You might have got some oil or something on the electric motor. The best way often is to get the 2 wires from your controller and put them directly to the wheels. And that usually gives it a jump and it'll get it going. They're noisy anyway, incredibly noisy. But they're nice. But that's all I could suggest. No, we won't do 3-rail doubler because we haven't got any.
Martin Wickham, do you plan to do any 3D printed buffers? Well, we did just do a custom order to someone because he wanted some buffers. So we are thinking about potentially the buffers that come with our kits, which are just 5 standard rough size buffers. We are thinking about putting them on the website just as
you can
they
just
are.
buy them. What else have we got here? Best cheap glue for card kits. If you're in the UK, go down to Screwfix and buy their PVA, £10 for a 5 litre tub. It's brilliant glue. Don't use the budget glues from Poundland and people like that. It won't glue. And personally, I wouldn't use things like rocket glue because it dries too quickly. Yeah, Corey, hi to Canada. Yahoo's all right, but it strings all over the place. It's horrid. Sorry.
Stephen Wamsley, do we have any more 009 in the works? Well,
so I was reading the one I like cats, but I don't think I could eat a whole one. That's all the cat lovers just stop watching. No is the answer to 009. Not at the moment. We have a complete range, number of locos, coaches, rolling stock. It's also not very cost effective for us to produce because we included all the bogies and they're going up in price all the time. And we've got a pretty big range. There you go. Radio controlled locos. Well, I'm a Philistine because I believe radio control is the answer, not DCC. And I think it will come.
Well, and we have a radio control set now to fiddle around with.
Yeah, we have plans to practice. It's out there. Support our local railway. What, the real one? Southern Rail? Probably not. Preserved railways, yeah, we tend to go to 2 or 3 a year. I work on the layouts now. Doug hasn't worked on the layouts basically since he was little.
I do lots of filming.
He does all the filming.
All the YouTube,
he
all
did
the 3D
do,
printing.
Be fair, he did do all the photoshopped back scenes on the quarry layout, and he is going to do all the shopped back scenes.
Is that update out yet? No.
No, it's out tomorrow, so
tomorrow.
watch it tomorrow. Do you reckon they'll lay out with 2? Yeah, well, I always think 1 track. 3 tracks is fine if you want to.
If
a couple
like
of running
big
trains,
loft
big loft layout. You certainly want a couple, but I've seen people do very complicated multi-levels. 2 up, 2 down, fast and slow, and then they try and replicate it by real life by putting crossings through all of them, so you can go from the up slow to the down slow, and that just begins to cause huge amounts of problems. Especially if you DC. If you DCC, maybe not, but think of the points involved, etc., etc. It's not for me personally. What will we be doing in 1 year and 5 years? 1 year, pretty much the same as we are, but we'll be bigger, more videos, more models.
5 years, we would have overtaken Hornby.
5 years would probably be doing quite well, I hope. We can ship kit. I nearly said a word there I shouldn't have said. Can we ship kits to the US? Yes, we can, and the postage isn't too expensive because they're flat. They go as a letter.
Yeah, we updated our website now. You no longer have to contact us if you're overseas. We spent a bit of money and upgraded it, so now automatically it'll do your postage for overseas. So it's like less than £5.
OA Gauge kits in the pipeline. Not only do we have one, it's out there. So this is a track maintenance vehicle. Runs on the Hornby 040 chassis, which you can't see. We're hidden it underneath. Got a load bed in the back. Big windows at the front. So that's a modern track maintenance vehicle. That's on the website now. That's the latest kit. We've sold 5 already, just from using social media. So that. I think that's going to be good. It's no good if you're into Steam, but if you've got a modern layout, it's going to look great.
Martin Wickham said he was meaning buffer stops. They're right there.
Oh,
Pardon?
No, because I can't reach and I can't turn my head left.
I can't reach.
Yes, we're going to do some adapted ones. We can't use these ones because they're somebody else's design, but we will be doing some buffer stops. Something like that. Because Dave Day, hi if you're watching, points out we've never got buffer stops in our layout, so we're going to do our own.
Where do we get up to after that?
For the roads, I'm doing cardboard. Yeah.
Ever make custom transfers? I don't know how to make transfers.
It's easy. You use you buy a transfer sheet and put it in your printer. To be fair, what we found is you print what you want on paper and just stick it on. If you look at the high-vis stripes on our recent diesel shunter, I don't think it makes much difference. Fine scale out, no. It's just not what I do. A bit more detailed, yes, but I'm certainly not going to start mucking about with EM4 and P4 and all that sort of things. I have a constant giggle with the fact that OO is all wrong. It should be 19mm and not 16.5mm. And that only makes me happy when I run, because when you get all the rivet counters complaining that the loco's 2mm too wide or the boiler rock's door handle is missing, conveniently forgetting all the wheels are wrong. Not for the HO people out there, of course, where it's right.
Dean Robinson, any 3D printed buildings? Wow.
Well, yeah, we keep experimenting with them. Yeah.
I made this one like a year ago, just haven't done anything with it. We have lots of kits that we've designed and just haven't got round to finalising different parts of them. I've got about 3 different station versions that I just have not finished any of them.
Yeah, I don't think West Coast Railway, you won't be the only one not supporting Northern Rail. I think they lost their franchise, didn't they? Shunting layout with 2.5 foot, yes, but you would have to do the classic Inglenook where you have 2 or 3 lines that you shunt into one way with no passing loop. I think technically you could do it in a lot less, so 2.5 foot's fine. All you need is literally a track, 2 points, and then you're just shunting wagons in and out of the points. I would agree, if your track's too complicated you lose the realism, you certainly lose the fun, I think. Yeah, that's good. What else? What camera gear do you use?
It's there. I can just fill out with this one.
Doug can talk about this one.
Overly expensive Canon PowerShot SX60, which was the first thing we brought with our YouTube money. Once we made enough, the first thing we brought was this camera, because we decided that whatever we made on YouTube we wanted to bring back into the channel on the quality. So we brought this and then a bunch of microphones and things. So we use this for the recording. We've thrown them away now because they didn't really work. For this
clip-on microphones.
We use clip-on lavalier microphones for videos at home. There you go. And then if we're at shows or whatever, we have a Rode Video Mic Go, which clips on the top of this, which you see a lot of like news reporters using and things. O scale, no. 7mm, so O gauge, whatever you want to call it, on 00 track, yes. I'm very, very keen to do that, because when we were at the Something show, I bought 5, I don't know the correct term for it, 7mm points, and it would be easy to do a body onto the classic Hornby 040 chassis. So that is in the pipeline. The guy asked about in a year's time, possibly. However, I did say, when I was looking, we went to Gauge Master and their O-gauge hopper wagons were ridiculously expensive. And I did say, I bet I could just scale up our
getting the wheels and things, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because the difference was our N-gauge hopper wagon is our OO hopper wagon that I've literally just scaled down. That's all it is. So we could do that with the other kits.
How do we make baseboards? A lot of them, particularly the shunting ones, they use a piece of melamine. Simple as, because they don't live anywhere, they don't warp by the time you put an MDF backscene on. Bigger baseboards, hollow doors are really good. Get them out of a skip is usually what I do. I have made them the traditional way. The round and round one I've got in the loft, the current exhibition one, is made the traditional way. Although I found I've got a hollow door in the shed I could have used. You know, there's a lot of nonsense spoken as well because of the old days. If you're using track screws, you can use whatever wood you can get hold of. So you know, that's always useful. American style shunters, no, probably not. I'll have a look at it. I wouldn't say no, but the big market is the UK, and US outline's not big in the UK. Of course, I'd love to break into the US market, but again, it would be what chassis. I think what a lot of people miss, if there's no chassis, there's no point us making the body. You know, people asking us to do a 009 double Farley. On what chassis? You know, we can't make motors and chassis. I'll make a body, possibly, freelance one. There's no chassis available. There's no point making the body, right. Which is why we stick to the Kato and the Hornby chassis, because they're cheap and readily available.
Model minutes, I need to get a streaming camera. You don't actually need much. This is just I think it's like a 20 quid webcam off Amazon. It's a Logitech, so they're all right. Just as long as it's a HD camera, then it'll be fine.
Any interest in real railways? Yes, but historically, I've got massively into it. My poor wife, I get a bit obsessive with new interests. I've got a pile of books that I shouldn't have. I keep buying them because they're cheap on eBay. I'll show you them actually in a minute. But I'm very interested in the way the railways work. I knew nothing. When Doug was 9, so about 7 years ago, he got me into railways. What I knew about railways, model or real, you could write on a postage stamp with a felt tip pen. And so it's what I've learned since then. And I'm interested in, I don't like the mainstream. I like, you know, I got into industrial because steam was still used industrial until 1980. And I like all the bits around the edges, so that tends to be my interest.
Paul Derbyshire, would caulking the walls around my layout kill the noise?
Possibly. Our narrow gauge in O is O-16.5. There you go, O-point. That really trips off the tongue, doesn't it?
Model minutes, what streaming software? We use Open Broadcaster software, which is free off the internet, and it just streams straight up to YouTube when you put your channel key in. Plenty of tutorials on YouTube on how it works.
What lead diesel locomotive do you recommend? Well, if you're in the UK, I would always say things like the old Hornby Class 25 are very good runners, very reliable. The Bagnalls from Hornby, even new at 30 quid, are a great buy because they're just very smooth and reliable. Second hand, the old Deltics are quite good. Most of the diesels are more reliable than steam because you've got powered bogies, so they tend to be better locos. Yeah, hollow doors are good. I am. They're asking about what do I do as. No, I don't do it as a profession. As a hobby, I'm a very senior officer in the Army Cadet Force in the UK. So I've been in it for 20 years. And I've actually now reached the highest position that it's possible to reach as a volunteer officer, and I run a whole county. I've got one more rank to go, which if I behave myself for 2 more years, which is very difficult, then I will get it. Nobody's more surprised than me because I've spent 20 years being a right pain in the arse, but somebody in the chain of command thought I did a good job. So
it must have been insane.
Must have been. They're desperate, I think.
Amory Junction. What software do we make our 3D kits on? Google SketchUp. Although we're going to have some problems with that because they're talking about deleting SketchUp from existence. So
we have to find number 3.
I'll have to learn a different one. Oh no.
Which colour is the best? Depends what you're running, doesn't it? Not the Great Western because they're so common. I've got a couple of red ones with white roofs that are rather nice, and the blue are nice. What I'd really like is the southern ones, but they go for silly money, so I shall end up painting some of our own coaches. I am going to add lighting to buildings one day.
One day.
One day. We know how to do it. Christmas tree lights.
We've got lit street lamps as well.
Don't buy all the expensive kits that you see. Just chuck Christmas tree lights in them.
I always thought, like the solar panelled garden fairy lights, because then they'd automatically turn on when it gets dark.
Can we encourage Tracy? Can we encourage Richard? Yes, put some track down. All right, just do it. Get some ballast mat. Put it where you want it. Put your track down and run trains. Because until you do, you're not having fun. That's the whole ethos of why I don't ballast track. And I build layouts. I get the track down first. The harbour layout, I've got the baseboard built today. Tomorrow, I'll put the track down and then I'll build round it. Get the track down, Richard. Yeah, Tracy's right. Get the track put down.
Yeah.
Why are you even questioning what your partner's saying? That's not going to end well. She's telling you to put the track down. Put the track down. I've been married for, 36 years, and you don't get there by ignoring your wife.
Yeah, we noticed Hornby stopped the OO chassis again.
Yeah, Hornbys have stopped them again, despite having 1,000 in stock, these things. A number of retailers have still got them. If you go on the Hornby website...
and click Find a Retailer.
Find a retailer.
Still have them.
Buy one quick, because they are good at that price. However, beyond that, simply go on eBay and buy a cheap 040 loco. They are out there. I know there's the Muppets trying to get 30, 40, 50 pound for them. 70 pounds the most I've seen somebody trying to get for an 040. But you can pick them up for 10 or 15 pound.
Thinking getting one of your OO diesel locos, could I easily fit a cab in it? I'm assuming you mean like a detailed cab.
Yeah, you could do.
Well, yeah, there's quite a lot of room
go
inside.
around the motor. Yeah. What building should I scratch build first? Whatever it is you need. Most buildings are available as kits in one way or another. I make most of my buildings now. I'm really pleased with the big station on the loft layout. I do use the kits. I find Metcalfe lovely but too big. Super Quick are good, but they get a bit samey, although I have just used Super Quick for the big station in the loft, which was great. This is how we got into model railways. So if you think of that station I built in the loft, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kits. At £6 each. Cost me £40 to build a station. Now that's still incredibly cheap compared to the 100, 200 a resin would cost me, or the probably getting on for 80 or 90 a Metcalfe kit would cost me. Now I could download them for 4 or 5, I accept that. Lots of download companies, or I can make them myself for about £1 each. I just did the Super Quick ones because I had them and they fitted what I wanted. Build something simple, but as you've seen in my many videos, all buildings are just boxes, squares with square windows. It doesn't matter if it's big or small, build a little building and then just scale it up. You build whatever you want, It's just the details that look different. Scratch building locos, yeah. I'm going to do it. 0-2 16.5. It's only tell me how to pronounce it. That's crazy. You come up with that nonsense.
Tom G. Soft Talk ASMR. Would you consider making people?
No.
They'd be a bit small.
I tried it when I did wargaming because I did a whole range.
I don't think 3D printing either. The printers can do something that intricate.
SketchUp will be gone. Yeah, I know. Terrible.
I know, it might be going. Yeah. They're talking about removing SketchUp Make, which is the only free complete version of SketchUp that there is.
Onshape.
But they're talking about removing. Yeah, I heard about
Onshape. Track plan books. Yes, if you find through one of our videos. There is one Pico book, I can't remember the title of it, but if you scratch through, I did the video on it, and that's the only one I'd actually buy. The problem is that even the wonderful Cyril Freezer books, you end up with 80% of them you don't want, because you want to build a shunting layout and it's got all layouts, or you want to build a loft and it's got all layouts. You know, if you get one cheaply, but I wouldn't pay the silly money people are asking, but there is one Pico, and I'm sure somebody will remind me that's very good. Model trams
16.5.
Yeah, I was talking about books just now. Having slagged off eBay, at the moment railway books are ridiculously cheap on eBay. This one has got lots of fabulous, I can't get it to work, paintings. Cost me £4 for a whacking great £1/2 book. That one again was £3. You do need to shop around. These, because I love my diesels, are brilliant. I've got all three. They appear on eBay for everything from £4.80, you got to pay for that one, to £25. So obviously what I say, if you want to get some books, and that's how I learn about railways, that's how I get the feel, and that's how I get my inspiration. So a lot of them come from that. Find a book you like, punch it into the search engine on eBay, scroll through. There's 3 or 4 of these big companies like We Buy Books that are buying them for 10p off people, and they are giving them away at £2.65 plus postage. I've even bought books where they must have made about 50p on them. So if you really want to learn about railways, now's a great time to get books.
Do you think I should get 3 Hornby LMS 4-wheel coaches for £43?
I wouldn't. I think the Hornby 4-wheel coaches are the biggest rip-off in Christendom. They're 4 bits of moulded plastic and 2 wheels, and they've been making them for 40 years. Any production costs disappeared decades ago. If they cost them more than £1 each to ship in from China, including shipping, I'd be gobsmacked. They should be £10 each. Sorry, but simple as that. They're a lovely coach, but they should be £10 each.
Ours are a £5.
You know, well, yeah, I mean, you can buy ours for £5 and get yourself a chassis for 50p, which is what I do. I mean, buying them second hand by all means, but I think they're the biggest rip-off out there. Sorry, Hornby. Un, on, o, and 16.5.
I think it's ON 16 or OON 16.5.
Resin 3D printing, no, because we're okay with the plastic that we use.
FDM is the printing.
There you go, thank you, Donald Thompson. 60 plans for small layouts, which is the book I was talking about, I think. Actually, no, I don't think it is. I think it's a bigger one. It's a newer one. Anyway.
I thought we were talking about the little 20p tiny.
No, I got a big A4 one that we did a video on because I was so impressed with it. Unfortunately, I can't find it. All my books are buried at the moment. Yeah, Lineworks. Oh, you bought my Lineworks Collier 40. That's a lovely little logo. I'm so pleased it runs. Yeah. He bought it. That's great. Yeah, no, I was really. I have got too many. No, I've offloaded it. Too much. Yeah. Because the book to get is The Model Railway Buildings by John Ahern. If you see that and get it cheap, I bought mine for £3 from a charity shop. That's wonderful, all about building buildings. And that was made in 1947, and it's been constantly reprinted ever since. And they leave all the references to rationing in, which, given austerity and the current climate, means it's going to be even better book.
Yep. Paul Rogers, are we going to do Tutorial Tuesday on the Shunter? Well, yes, as Model Minutes has just said, he's got a few of our kits. You're going to see him doing a video on them soon. But yeah, I mean, at some point we probably will do a video on our kits. I don't know.
Might have been set track plans, but if I had the time, I'd scroll through our videos and find it. I might ask you to do that.
What now?
Well, can you do that without losing all this?
Well, I don't want to make the audio go all stupid.
No, I'd leave it then. I'll go through my phone later. There you go. I mean, Hattons have got new 040s for 23 quid. Be a little careful with Hattons. I've noticed people telling me how they've got stuff new
And when I look, it's second hand. I'm not knocking it. It's really nice, but it sits in little letters used. But if you can get a new one for 23, then yeah, that's the answer. Unfortunately, it's still 4 times what the chassis was on its own. But there you go. Yeah, you go. See, £11 for a. I still wouldn't pay £11 for a Hornby four-wheel coach. Sorry, but there you go.
Dean Robinson, is extra electrical track feeds necessary?
Oh, it's a long one. No, not if you're doing DC. No. Our entire bottom loop in our loft, so that goes 9 feet, 9 feet, 9 feet, 9 feet, 9 feet. It has a passing loop in the station, and that passing loop feeds a 3-road goods shed, and there's a 3-4 lane single-ended fiddle yard, and it's all powered by 2 wires. Sorry, but that's the truth about DC. We were talking to a guy about this yesterday. Until about 20 years ago, points were not reliable for changing power. So you had to have isolated sections which needed a switch, and you had to wire both sides of the point, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Unfortunately, people are still saying that that's what you need to do. Even Continental Modeler the other month, I have to use such and such planarity switches on my... No. Modern Pico insulating points will switch the power. You chuck 2 wires in, 1 on each rail, put it in the right place, and it powers the entire layout. Sorry, but it does. It's not like DC where you have to power every single individual bit. It's just one of those odd things where everybody says DC is complicated, and it's not. Sorry.
John Bridges, how about writing our own track plan?
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is really there's only about 4 track plans, in all honesty. A round and round track needs 2 sidings with a bay on each. Done. Shunting sidings, passing loop, 2 sidings off the back. What I'm going to do on the harbour, which you'll see when we do it, with a bay. That's about it. Anything more than that, you don't really need. But there you go. That's just my view. Compendium of track plans for layouts to suit all locations. It might have been that one. I am still enjoying the J50, yes. Although I do like my J94 even more. The J94 is a lot more detailed and is an even smoother runner, and I paid £9 for it. We really must do a video of that.
Yeah.
Because people have loved the J50, but actually the J94 in black is a much better buy. Cost me £9, including postage. It's got a lot more detail. I still wouldn't pay £11 for a 4-wheel coach. Sorry.
No, 7 coaches.
Oh, 7 coaches for it. I beg your pardon. That's a bargain. Absolute bargain. Yeah, snap that up. Oh, great. Well done, Richard. You converted Tracy Birch to model trains and our 4-month. Have you laid your track? Yeah. Why are you watching us? Go and get your track screws. Now, when you do lace track, use track screws, not track pins. They are a little bit more expensive, but best thing ever invented. Why did I get rid of Market Town?
Didn't need it.
I had invites to take it to 2 or 3 other shows, which I'd love to have done, but I knew with my cadet work and Doug's scout work, we wouldn't get to do it. There's nowhere to store it, and I was storing it in the shed, which is damp. It was sell it or lose it, unfortunately. I'd enjoyed making it. I'd enjoyed exhibiting it. It didn't owe me anything. It didn't cost me a great deal of money to make. And the guy that bought it was absolutely made up with it, and he bought it so that his nieces, I think, and nephews, when they come round, could watch a train go round because it was so compact. So everybody was a winner in the end.
Richard Drew, we've never used that app, so I do not know.
No.
I'm assuming it's probably only DCC as well.
Kato track turnouts. Yeah, now if I was a rich man, I would use Kato track. I think it's superb. It all clips together. You plug 2 wires in and you have a powered point. Now their powered point's 25 quid, but by the time you bought a Pico point and a point motor and a switch and a mounting bracket, it's more than 25 quid. If I had the money, I would use Kato set track every single time. Got anybody for the virtual exhibition yet?
No, anymore.
The problem is we
could do a little add on here because these must be.
We're planning to do a virtual model railway exhibition. We're having the same problem we had when we did the real exhibition last year. We're either approached by people who've got the greatest high-end layout, which is wonderful, but it's not what we do, or they think their layout's not good enough because they only ever see high-end exhibitions. And what we really want is budget layouts. We want things where people haven't thrown a lot of money at it. So if you've got a nice layout out there, Details are on our website. That you would like to see in a virtual exhibition, send us a 3-minute piece of film.
To our email, which I'll type in the chat now.
And we'll string it all together and we'll do a virtual exhibition for everybody to have a look at. But we want budget model railways. I don't care how big it is, I don't care what it's of, I don't care what scale it is. I don't even really care if it's DCC, so long as you didn't spend a fortune on it and it hasn't got every single blade and grass and rivet right. Oh yeah, J94 for 15, that's good. I don't know Hornby HM6000, I'm guessing it's a controller. Yeah, we only use DC. DCC is we're going to upset a lot of people, so I won't go into it, but I think it's an expense that you don't need. Hornby recently, they used to do an Italian loco that we bought for £30. I think it was listed originally for 50. They put a computer chip in it. It's now 100. Now, I'm sorry, a tiny little plate for a computer chip does not add 40 quid to a loco. It can't. They're pence. Unless you want to run more than one loco at a time on the same bit of track and you want sound, I just don't get the extra expense and complication of the wiring. And yes, you can do it cheaply, but you can't do it cheaply as second-hand DC. We keep getting people say to us, well, why don't you do budget DCC? Because it's not as cheap as second-hand DC. It's as simple as that, really. Bluetooth controller, yeah, if you're into that sort of thing.
That's a bad idea.
Why can't you trust Lima? There's nothing wrong with Lima. The vast majority of our locos are Lima. Again, if you've had yes, there are some bad ones out there, but there's equally an awful lot of very good ones. Just look at the prices of the big diesels that are going for silly money because they're so good and so reliable. Yeah, you could have an awful J94 or you could have a good one. That's why you don't pay too much for them. If you pay too much for it, then it's a pain.
Daniel Bass, will the next video be the harbour layout?
Well, I filmed the first part today.
So that will be
a couple of weeks.
Next Friday.
A couple of weeks because we got them backed up.
Yeah, it'll be next Friday.
The newspaper, no, because GDPR did for us, I'm afraid. And to be fair, the videos are taken over. We just haven't got the time.
No. Not with the 3D printing, which is going mad right now.
They might be selling the 040 for 99p, but it won't go for 99p. see what it sells at.
5 coaches for 30 quid, that's pretty good. 6 quid each.
Yeah, see, sound on DCC, I wargamed for decades. Wargamers don't want to hear the Tiger tank engine, or the gun firing, or the shouts of the soldiers, or the rifle fire. So why are we so worried about sound on model railways? I just don't get it. Sorry. Yep, 6 separate tracks using a DC controller, yeah. No, I'm sorry, a larger layout doesn't need block controls, multiple switches, etc. I've just said you can run lots off one. If you want to run 2 or 3 tracks, the most you need is 2 or 3 controllers. Most points will switch the power.
The loft layout, we have 1 controller per track. It's just the 2 massive loops on the loft. All we did was put 2 droppers in rather than 1 halfway round. That's all we've done. And again, that's not on any separate switch. It's just another set of power straight out of our controller. And even our controller, which costs like 5 quid part off of Chinese components, runs our entire loft layout.
Tutorial or Tuesday, yeah, we do want to do them. It's just finding the time because they're very time intensive to make. Because I want to build stuff, and if I'm going to film it, I need to build 3 or 4 and make a bit like a Blue Peter video. But yes, we know we need to do more Tutorial Tuesdays.
Will we do a video on wiring a small layout?
You can do, but it's usually 2 wires in DC, in all honesty. Most shunting layouts, it's 2 wires in. If you've got a siding pointing back the way you've come, then you put 2 wires on that. That's it.
100 viewers.
Excellent.
I think that's the most we've ever hit.
What's the most you've spent on a model layout? Probably Market Town. We've bought a load of buildings for that. But I think it was still only about 60 quid.
If you were going to use just the horn and the bell, though, you could just get an app on your phone. Ding,
the thing I'm going to do at one point, I saw it as an exhibition, is like my industrial shunting layout. The loco's always running. So all you need to do is you put 2 speakers with a track of lots of diesels running and shunting and the engine going, and background noise, and you just play that. And the sound will be much better than the tinny noise you get out of the locos.
It's the least we've spent on a layout.
Nothing. pretty much. I have got a layout where basically it was all second hand that cost me pence, and I built all the buildings myself. I mean, you know, the industrial layout we've just built, I paid £4 for the rock face. I suppose there's 5 points at about I suppose about 20 or 30 quid. But I mean, I built one layout using the old manual Hornby points with a funny switchy thing on the side, and I bought them for 50p each, and the whole layout probably cost me 10 quid. See, I don't get the whole Thomas thing anyway. I'm one of those that believe if you want to bring children into a hobby, you don't need to make it childish. What you need is cheap trains. The kids will love it, whether it's got Thomas on the front or not. You know, Thomas is always expensive because of the licensing. You see, what I'm more surprised at is people like Bachmann stopped doing their junior range, which were excellent locos. I've got 3 that I keep meaning to do a video on.
Tom G's Soft Talk ASMR. What was the first OO gauge kit we created? I'm assuming with 3D printing. When did BMR start? Well, the YouTube started in 2016, in January 9th was when we started it. January 12th was the first video. The 3D printing we started 2 years ago, so 2018, on the February half term. I was bored, and we were talking about doing 3D printing for a while, so we're like, oh, we'll keep me company, we'll buy a 3D printer on next day delivery. That happened. Then I threatened to throw it out the window a million times because it wouldn't work. And now here we are with we've gone through 7 machines. We've upgraded now. We've all got the higher model up. So we've been doing the 3D printing for 2 years now.
Again, isolate certain sections of a large layout. Use Pico points. It's the easiest way of isolating sections of a large layout. What's your favourite layout? We had that earlier, so always Greenhill Hall and currently my shunting one.
Ian Bearham, do you like the photo of the rail car I sent at the weekend? I don't think I got
We don't think we got that. Send it to us again.
Did you send it through email?
Pico brand, we said at the very beginning, yeah, it's best thing out there, especially the points. I'd buy it second hand always. We've never bought new track. I've never bought new track. We bought some new N-gauge track when we very first started, and the price frightened the crap out of me because we needed 3 points. And ever since then, I bought second hand. I've never paid more than £6 for a point. I've never had a problem with a second hand point. And yet I still see books saying, whatever you do, don't use second hand track. It's a piece of 2 bits of metal on a piece of plastic. How is it any different second hand to new? What can go wrong? The points the only point I've had break was a new one. I just wish people would stop saying don't use second-hand track and points. I just don't get it. It halves the price. I am feeling well. I'm not 100%, but I'm getting there. Typically, I only have asthma once every 3 or 4 years, so of course it's flared up when COVID-19's out. Thanks, guys.
Well, hey.
Yeah, hey. So I've got to be really careful. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It genuinely doesn't bother me beyond that. I don't even have to take ventilating or anything normally. But when it's bad, it's bad. I'll try not to tell. When I ever spend more than 200 on a layout, I wouldn't spend more than 100 on a layout. I'll try not to spend more than 50 quid on a layout. The loft, no, I mean, I'm being flippant. The loft layout will end up costing us over £200 because the timber alone to build it was 90. And then there's probably 70 or 80 pounds worth of buildings. The track, we actually got quite a lot of it very cheap second hand. I think the loft will end up costing us about £300 or £400. But that's when it's finished. That'll be for all the track, all the work, all the timber, all the controllers and everything. Which when you look at the thousands and thousands people spent.
Ah, yes, this.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Oh, I quite like the look of that.
Ian Bearham, we do have
it. Yeah, we might have a look at that. I quite like that.
Just did it again.
Yes, you can use sandpaper to clean track. It makes the enthusiasts and the real people go absolutely mad. But in fact, if you read Cyril Freezer, who as far as I'm concerned is the godfather of anything to do with model railways, it was quite common in the old days. Steel track in particular, it's so gunky, you'll be there forever with a solvent. And I tend to use a very fine abrasive paper to clean the track first, and then WD-40 it. I wouldn't buy anything from Helgen because I couldn't afford it. Yeah, you can use sandpaper. It won't. It might scratch dirt, but it can't attract dirt. It's not physically possible. Yes, admittedly, it can scratch it, but some of the old steel track is so corroded if you buy it second hand. Nickel silver, no, probably not. Nickel silver, I probably would try and use solvents and things to keep it clean. I do agree with that.
What kind of measurements do we use for our 3D kits when we're designing to fit to a standard chassis?
And a ruler.
We measure.
Yep.
And hope for the best, because with this one, I measured it all, printed the whole thing, glued it all together, and the underframe was too small. So I then had to redesign the whole kit and print all the parts again.
She got it right the first time. Measure twice, cut once.
I did measure twice, it still didn't fit.
Yeah. Yes, we have been on the North York Moors, had a fabulous time. Because the first time we saw big diesels, because we were at Grossmont, which is the one where Heartbeat was filmed. And the steam train wasn't very well, so they brought a Class 37 in rail blue, large logo, full yellow ends. And me and Doug were so excited because we'd never seen a big diesel. And the steam enthusiasts thought we were mad. And then we got pulled by a 25 on the way back, which was just fabulous because I can see steam trains anytime I like, but not big diesels.
Would we do a stream working on a layout?
No, I've seen people that have tried and the water leaks everywhere.
No. Live stream. I assume.
Live stream or a real stream? Let us know. How should you buy curve points second hand, because they are ridiculously expensive? Nickel silver, I do. Yeah, nickel silver are a little bit different. I would try and use a solvent on nickel silver. Stewbury, yes, gun range. Hornby Terrier or Dapple Terrier? Neither, because they're both too expensive. Sorry.
Best running cheap big diesel.
The old Hornby Class 37. Because you can still get them quite cheap, and if you get a good one and you give it a good service, they just keep running and they'll go around first radius.
Chris Howes, other than our own controller, what would we recommend? The old Hornby ones, the old original Hornby ones.
The older,
not the new ones.
The little silver and black Hornby one. The best thing to that is just throw it out the window. If we hadn't discovered through Classic Rail, I went and bought an old second-hand controller, and it was like a revelation. All of a sudden our locos ran and they didn't stutter and we could run them slowly, and it was the naff cheap Hornby controller. The new one's even worse because apparently the controller's good, but they don't tell you there's no transformer in the box. You have to buy the transformer. It costs you about 30 quid. Gauge Master is the honest answer. I don't have one, but I've heard wonderful things from people who've done really well with the Gauge Master ones. North Yorkshire Moors we've spoken about. Well, the prices in young people. There's two videos of ours out there. One is why are model railways so expensive, which is got a huge interest. But we also did another one called the future of model railways, which hasn't got anywhere near as many viewers. So if you're watching this, please go and watch it and spread it, where we talk about that. The prices have got to come down, not to just to attract young people, but to attract anybody. I was 50 when I started model railways and I couldn't afford it. They've got to come down. When I did wargaming, if I wanted, I could spend £50 on a Sherman tank. Or I could buy the armour fast and get 2 for 8 quid. Now the detail's not the same, etc., but I can choose. We don't have that choice in model railways. We don't have the choice. Beyond a Hornby 040 and a couple of wagons, we don't have that choice of running a whole model railway on cheap £20, £30 locos, £10 rolling stock, £5 buildings. That's what we need. Yeah, prices got mad on eBay at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about something that's mostly me?
Would we ever go back to North York Moors Railway? That's a long way from us.
Yeah.
What is it? Must be like a 4-hour drive.
I have got American locos. Yeah, I've got a load of cheap Mahano ones that I paid next to nothing for. I got, I think, £17 for 7 wagons and a loco. And one day I will do an American one. I've got the superb Mahano switcher. I don't know which one it is. One with a little cab in the middle. And we will do American one day. Yeah. I don't know how you can kill a controller by drawing too much current, but I can never
do you remember? Like my original Hornby one. Whenever you stalled on a point, ding, and the crappy Hornby controller, you had to unplug it for like 5 minutes and plug it back in.
Yeah, I mean, nobody pays 38 for a new Hornby 040. You always, I mean, I can buy one for £31, including postage on eBay anytime I like. I agree, they should be 20 for the same reason I said about coaches. But at current prices, 31's not excessive for what is a very good loco. But if they were half that, then yes, of course, it would bring more people into the hobby. How are we doing? Oh, I can't help it. Real life loco? What's your favourite real life loco?
That's your answer.
Class 37s. Oh, 9F. We did see that 9F at Ropley shunting wagons at night.
Re-eBay, have we become victims of our own success?
How do you mean? I'm not
What
sure
does that
about what you mean about that one. SW1 switcher. That's the one. I've got an SW1 switcher. Yeah, Armorphos is just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. 2 perfectly good kits in a box. They take 10 minutes to build. You can weather them and end up with a whole army for £4 a tank or whatever. I expect they're probably about £12 now. But, you know, Plastic Model Soldier Company the same. It's all out there in other hobbies, but not the railway world. Yes, we're going to employ the NHS in 10 minutes' time and do a big clap. Yes, we are.
So are you.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do a military layout ever because I've moved on from that. I spent years doing military, and I'm not that bothered about the link. I know it's hugely popular and a lot of people love it, but I nearly always put soldiers in my layout, as people know. There's nearly always soldiers in there somewhere. A Chilean 1960s layout in a shoebox. Now that I would like to see some pictures of.
Which loco would you love to own?
Thanks for watching, John Bridges. Sorry?
Which loco would you love to own?
Well, a real one or a model one?
Both.
Model ones, I've got all the ones I want, to be fair. I should stop buying them.
Yeah, you should. You say you're going to stop buying like every day, and then every day I check PayPal. It's like, oh, bought. Spending more of my 3D printing money.
Which loco in any range would you love to own?
That's what I just said.
See, the new stuff, I just couldn't contemplate the costs. So I'm quite happy with the ones I've got, to be honest.
Would we do a seaside layout?
Well, I'm doing a harbour one. Is that the same?
What's happened to the continental layout? Well, the one from like 2 years ago.
It's in bits in the shed. I have a lovely collection of Italian, French, and my own repainted freelance stuff. And at some point I've got to build a big continental layout, but I don't know where I'm going to put it. We've done buildings or people, haven't we?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Have we ever tried replacing couplings on old trying stuff?
No.
We just don't really buy trying.
The thing is, the old metal couplings work better on micro layouts because they're narrower. How many people we got watching then?
98.
98, we've done quite well. Does it tell us how many people we've had in total?
506.
There's 506 different people watch this. They've got nothing else to do, which we've done it.
Yeah. We could do another one at some point if we're all still quarantined in a month's time.
Yeah, I think we will be.
Yeah, probably.
We will be. We've killed each other by then.
I definitely would have killed you by then.
Trying Class 37, yes. I don't know. I unfortunately, with all this old stuff, when they're awful, they're awful. If they're fine, they're fine. There's loads of videos online. If you're having trouble with them, I'm sure somebody can show you how to fix them. But I've got a Hornby one, which is effectively the same thing. I wouldn't pay the silly prices that people are paying for them, though. Amazing the prices people are paying for the Trying DMU.
What do we think of the Great British Model Railway Challenge? We actually applied to that.
We applied to that. He couldn't because he's too young.
Yeah.
And then when they do a junior one, I can't because I'm too old. So we can't be in it together.
So we said no.
So we said no. I think it was a very good idea. I think you have to remember it's a TV programme. So they had some characters and they had unusual challenges for the layout. I think it probably really helped the industry because it got a whole lot of people interested in it. But I think they should have been more basic because it made it look complicated again. It was all about how much money can we throw at it, the old problems that we have with the hobby. Oh, in France, yeah, you had a bit of a lockdown there, haven't you? Yeah.
We've been in it for like 1 week and a few days.
The tightest curve of flexi track I've got an 040 round is 7.5 inches, or 15 inches in total. It's not getting the loco round. I reckon you could get a loco round at 12-inch diameter. It's getting the wagons and the coupling lock round. If you didn't mind making bigger, longer couplings out of wire and wire loops, then I think you could probably get stuff around 12 inches.
How much is our new track maintenance kit, and is it easy to build? So this,
all ours are easy to build.
It is £15 on our website. So look at, do I have one in there? No. We have parts of one over there that was printed. It's probably no more than 10 pieces. So yeah, it's really easy to build. We make them all so they are as easy as possible to build.
I did like the tramway guy though. Asked why there wasn't any instructions. There's two sides that are the same, two ends the same, a roof and a bottom. Sorry.
No,
carry on.
I've been replaced.
Carry on.
Your glazing's falling out. You did a bit of a shoddy job on that. I don't even know what I was saying now.
You were saying about it's 10 pieces and they're really easy to put together.
Oh yeah, so we have massive flanges on all the different parts, so you could basically just hold it together. So that's how we've done it. And then when you add a bit of glue, it's too high.
Oh, your arm's getting tired.
Yeah, my arm gets tired. Yeah, there you
go. There is a harbour layout coming out. I've been working on the baseboard today, but it'll be about a week, 2 weeks, because we've got videos backed up. But in about 2 weeks' time, yeah, it's being built. Harbour layout being built.
102 viewers.
What engine we'd like to see ready to run? Depends, because they won't make them cheap enough. That's the honest answer. So I'm not really that interested in them because they'll all be £100, and I'm just not prepared to pay that much money for a loco. What I'd really like to see is Hornby do the old Lima Class 33 again, same body, slightly different motor, and knock it out at 30 quid. Not £100, which is what they did with the Deltic, which is just bonkers. I know they came down to about 60 eventually, but that's still too much money. Buy train buses and other random stuff. What inspired your COVID build? Being shut at home, and I wanted to build a really good shunting layout. I had 4 shunting layouts on the go, none of which did what I wanted, but they had all taught me something. See, Cyril Freezer is such a great bloke. He says, if you build things, watch a face that hasn't built your layout yet, get building. If you build things, you learn what's wrong with them and what's right with them, and eventually you get to build exactly what you want.
Or have we been to or seen Miniature Wonderland in Hamburg? Yeah, we've stood in the waiting room. We didn't book. We couldn't get in.
Yeah, you got as far as the entrance, didn't you?
No, we got in there. We got as far as the booking tickets, and they're like, we don't have any spaces.
We've got
today.
to go because that's just superb. That's just superb. 3,000 a layout, yeah, that's never going to happen. Lima Class 26, I've got a couple of those. They're very good. We couldn't make good locos like Lima and Hornby cheaply because of the chassis. It's always down to the chassis. Now, could they? Yes, of course they could.
I mean, our industrial diesel shunter pretty much looks like a bag.
Yeah, it's better than a bag. You can buy that from Hornby for £8. So how is the plastic body worth £22? Now, if that was £22, I could understand the body being £8. There's no way that needs to be 30 quid. And there's no way that some of the other bigger stuff needs to be that price either.
Yeah, I'm getting crazy. You're driving me mad.
What's that?
All this lockdown.
Yeah.
Stuck with you.
I have looked at wire and tube, but I've never needed to because I'm lazy and I just flick my finger over the points.
Have we ever done wire and tube? No, we haven't.
That's what I've just said.
Wait, did you say that?
Yeah. Yes, we are. Third question. Yes, we are going to clap for the NHS, and we'll ask everybody to do the same, please. Could I do a loco inventory? No, because I don't want anybody finding out how many I've got, because I've got too many, and I especially don't want him finding out.
Well, according to my computer, it's still 3 minutes to clap in Eastbourne, so...
Yeah. Says there, 3 minutes.
2 minutes now. 2 minutes.
Sound in the background. Yeah, we're going to do it on here.
It's nearly 8 o'clock.
Going to do it on here. That's our wife, my wife, his mum.
Our wife?
Not our wife. My wife, his mum. Reminding us it's nearly 8 o'clock. When our clock says 8 o'clock, then we'll clap. And then if anybody's watching this, please clap along with us.
My clock is connected.
But if you want to go out and clap outside your window, then please do. And it is for everybody, of course. It's not just the NHS workers. It's everybody now that's supporting care homes, food, the army. Big shout out for their reserves and our regular soldiers who are busy doing that kind of thing.
But of course it'll be delayed for them. So they're about 30 seconds behind. So we need to start clapping
in 1 minute.
Yeah, in basically 30 seconds.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then it'll happen at the right time. I guess that's why everybody stopped asking questions, because they've gone off to clap.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the viewer rate going down. So if we clap...
Don't forget to come back, because we will still be here.
If we clap in about 30 seconds,
yeah,
then that should be alright.
No, according to that clock, it's now.
No, that's 59.
Yeah, so...
It's 8 o'clock.
In 10 seconds, because you said 30 seconds
Yeah,
before.
exactly. If we do it at 30 seconds before, because I think there's about a 30-second delay. So, get ready.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for what you're doing. I hope everybody that's watching this, who's watching this at the moment, still 85 people watching, so you've got to clap along. People, if you're watching, please, and that's 87 of us clapping along. It is quite sunny out on the road. It's a little bit like the old Communist Party conferences, isn't it, where if you didn't clap for 10 minutes you got shot. We couldn't clap long enough really to show our gratitude, could we? So,
now it's definitely 8 o'clock.
I hope everybody's clapping along. Because my mother-in-law needed paramedics today in her care home, so we're very grateful to the emergency services at the moment. There we go.
Well, hey.
Well done, everybody. Still 82 people. So let's have a few more questions then. Have we got any we've missed?
Well, everyone will be busy clapping now, so we'll have to wait a bit, I reckon.
Yeah. As an NHS worker working from home?
Yep.
Doing the Chilean micro layout?
Oh, my arm's hurting.
Yeah, the viewers are dropping off because everybody's gone up to watch.
The viewers are just dropping right down now.
Oh, they've gone up again. Down again.
Up again, down again. Everyone's deciding they're going to go stay. What do I do? You know, this might be a good time.
What's that?
Do you reckon you can hold fort while I make a cup of tea?
Yeah, go on then. Go and put the kettle on. Oh, there's flapjack up as well.
Oh, yeah, there's flapjack.
It's cake. The Mammoth whistle, well done, excellent. So thank you for that, everybody. In all seriousness, we need these people. I was going to say the great British spirit, but to be honest, it's the great international spirit, actually. I mean, to be honest, we're all the same. Really doesn't matter what nationality we are, or race, colour, creed, etc. We actually all want the same things in life. And generally speaking, it's our people that help us, you know, the emergency services and food workers and all sorts of things that are out there trying to make everything right. And I'm sure the same's in your country, and I'm sure we're not getting it right, and I'm sure lots of things are going wrong, but I am equally sure that everybody's trying their damn best. And I must admit, I'm a little bit, you know, that's what we're going to need to remember. I think everybody's pulling together. Milk and 2 sugars. Yeah, when we do the virtual show, we're going to do a virtual tea room, and it'll all be calorie free because it's not real. Yeah. Layout ERA 4, ERA 5. Well, ERA 4, ERA 5 is continental classification. Do whatever you like. I just put whatever trends on the layout I like, and I make my layouts generic. The industrial one at the moment is going to have European locos on it, it's going to have steam locos on it, it's going to have diesel locos on it at different times. On our loft, we'll run French TGV alongside 9Fs. So I think the saddest thing I heard was somebody saying once that he couldn't run such and such a loco on his layout. Who knows? Has he got the thought police up in his loft or something? You know, you should be able to run what you like, regardless of whatever. Yeah, lots of requests for tea. Yes, I think eBay prices have gone up because of the increase in interest in model railways, and because the appalling lack of choice at a sensible price from ready to run. I mean, when we started model railways 7 years ago, we could buy large Lima locos for £20-25. Now you're lucky to pick them up for less than 40. But when a new one's 120, and the old Lima ones, the later Lima ones are so excellent, then I suppose 40 or 50 quid is not actually a lot of money for one, although albeit slightly more than I would want to pay. Coffee, yeah. No, I know people. Standard NATO, yeah. I had a friend in the cadets who A, didn't drink tea, which was very strange, and then when he did drink it, insisted on drinking it black with no sugar, but we soon changed him. It's got to be standard NATO. Yeah, absolutely. The only rule in model railroading should be your layout, your rules, Flyboy. Yeah. Yeah, I like the answer there. Why did you build me a model rail like that? Because I wanted to. Yeah, absolutely right. I think the main problem with eBay at the moment is to meet the demand, there's clearly people clearing out rubbish who know nothing about model railways. I questioned one guy who was selling a Deltic, and he just kept saying, the current thing that a lot of people are doing is saying, in good used condition. Yeah, but does it run? And every single person I've asked has said, no, it doesn't run. One guy said, well, it ran 20 years ago and I put it in the loft, so I reckon it's still okay. Some poor soul paid 25 quid for a loco that probably doesn't run. And what I would say at the moment, unless the person says it runs, I wouldn't buy it. Equally, we've already had one person who was told categorically it runs, and I bought a loco last couple of weeks ago that said it's a good runner. It's dead. It's dead. You know, Monty Python parrot, dead. When you take it apart, the motors rust up. So there is no way on earth that thing ran. Now, okay, I got my money back. And with eBay at the moment, because they give you a postage label, you don't lose out. And despite these idiots that say no returns, you will get your money back. But I'd be very, very careful at the moment if you're paying big, anything over about 20 quid. I would make sure the pictures are good. I would ask any questions before I paid money for it. Yeah, he went to clap. Yeah, Doug's gone to put the kettle on. Important stuff. So I have to read over here because for some reason my screen's not scrolling. No, if I was in the US, I wouldn't get British locos and rolling stock because it would cost you an arm and a leg to get shipped over. I would stick to your much better American stuff, to be honest, and see if you can get it cheap. Yes, there's quite a lot of clapping here. It's a big road. Yeah, our trains do run on time now, eventually. We'll have a look at the Facebook Messenger later, the Chilean route. Yeah, wagons and stuff on eBay still cheap. Not coaches. Coaches are a bit silly, but wagons are still quite cheap. Yeah, there's people in America that will supply OO. Yeah, I mean, if you like it, if I was in America, I'd be running. You've got so much really good HO stuff out there, but there you go. Weathering is good. I wouldn't pay a fortune in the complexity of using an airbrush. I dry brush mine. Would I dry brush some of my nicer locos? No, because it devalues them, and if I ever wanted to sell them, I can't. But I've just weathered my
I'll bring cake.
Hymec, dry brushed. Ooh, flapjack.
Hand Joe.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, I mean, prices have gone up. I mean, I know somebody that's done the whole graphs and everything, and the price of model railways has gone up way, way above inflation. When you bear in mind that every other price in the world has not gone up for 10 years because of China, and railways are made in China, why have railway prices gone up when nothing else has gone up? I think it's driven by the very rich enthusiasts that will just pay any money, and that's the market that everybody caters for. Thank you.
Delivery service. Hey?
Slide over. So we're going to finish this sometime between 8:30 and 9 if people are watching. There you go. Viewers gone down. I expect they're still clapping.
Busy clapping. There's fireworks going on outside.
Why is mine not scrolling like yours is?
It is.
No, it's not. It's stuck there.
I'm confused.
Flapjack. My wife made it.
Don't know.
That's not very helpful. You're the technology person. There you go. It's working now.
I refreshed the page. I was going to have that bit of flapjack as the biggest bit.
Oh, that's why I had it. Age before beauty, mate. Age before beauty. American layouts are bigger because of basements. Simple as that. Big basements that they don't use. I actually got a magazine once that said small layouts. It's an American magazine. I think the smallest was 12 foot by 18 foot. In the UK, 4 by 6 foot is normal. Having cake, yeah, it's flapjack. I don't know about the homemade transfers. All I know is reading Continental Modeler that you can buy transfer sheet that you put in a printer and print transfers.
It is most definitely tea. Milk in last, obviously.
I want ginger nuts now. I like ginger nuts. I'm very fussy with biscuits. He eats custard creams and bourbons,
It's anything.
which
Just
are awful.
biscuits.
Chocolate covered hobnobs. Yeah, class 156, good. Yeah. Haven't read much of Chris Ellis. I know Chris Ellis is a military modeller. Michael Ahern, Michael Andres. Now, Michael Andres's book, he was published through the 80s, and there's all sorts of versions of it, but you can get everything he wrote in one book, which I got cheap from AGR Model Shop. I paid £1.50 for it. But he got me on. It was his book that got me onto the whole Homewood concept, of the model railway concept, just the model layout concept. But anything by Cyril Freezer, just read. He does a book on operating steam age model railways, and I know nothing about real railways, and I learnt more from that book than reading most things. Anyway, transfer paper does work.
As we're all having a cup of tea, there you go. Buy yourself a Budget Model Railways mug. I'm hoping that'll go away after a certain amount of time.
What's that?
I'll pin this up on the top of the chat.
Oh well.
Oh, there you go. I'd have to unpin it once everyone's seen it.
Oh, somebody there, Ashley Wilson, custard creams. Oh, ugh. Bourbons. When people tell me that a bourbon is a chocolate biscuit, it's not. It's not chocolate.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't even taste of chocolate. What's our most expensive model? I think it's the 460. I was scouting around a few months ago, and Kernel Model Centre had it's a black tender loco. I think it's 460. It's 460, isn't it?
Coronation Squad.
Well, that's coaches as well. And that was £70. But this loco, they're £80 or £90 new, and Kernel Model Centre had them at 50. So yeah, I had to buy one. And the Janus was 50, and those are the two most expensive actual locos. Oh, dark chocolate? No. Now, if they made a white chocolate hobnob, now we'd be talking. White chocolate, anything with white chocolate.
Our Smarties have made white chocolate Smarties.
How about that? That's brilliant. Bovril. Hot meaty Bovril. And that's a joke amongst those of us of a certain age in the UK.
I don't understand the hot.
Because the advert in the 70s was Chris Bonington climbing up Everest with the help of hot meaty Bovril. It's a meat-based drink. It's god-awful. Sorry, Sri Lanka. Nobody drinks it here anymore.
Nah. 3D printed trams. I mean, we have our steam tramway.
Oh, 20 quid for two locos from a charity shop. Yeah, it's over there actually. I got a Bachmann pannier tank 060 for £7 from a charity shop.
No, white chocolate's the best. Do we still email our newsletter? No. White chocolate Twix.
White chocolate Twix. I'm a secret. Every time I go around little Tesco's and everybody thinks I'm going to go and buy bread or milk, I buy a white chocolate Twix and eat
There's
it on the
such
way
thing
home.
as a white chocolate Twix.
It's out of this world.
Well, I mean, the white chocolate Hershey's that little Tesco's does.
No, it's better than that. It's got caramel in it.
Nah, just white chocolate. Or Cadbury's caramel milk chocolate.
Anyway, back to adverts. Back to model railways.
Adverts.
Model railways. We decided that white chocolate's the best, so we can move on.
There we go. The viewer rate's back up now. Everyone's back. It's okay, we just spoke about chocolate while everyone was gone.
Who's the guy? Is it Steve? Who's the guy that does the Guy Martin?
Yeah.
What's his quote about football?
Oh, I have nothing against football. I just don't see the point in watching 22 millionaires on TV chasing a bag of wind in their underwear.
That's the one. I still do support the football team, so that answers that one. We have lots of plans. It's just finding the time to do it all.
I overtake Hornby. World domination.
Oh, somebody's doing some modelling while we speak. That's good. What are we up to? No, 95. That's a bit more like it. Excuse us while we eat flapjack.
It's flapjack's the best.
That video's I've no idea for a hobnob. Excellent. Now, the white chocolate was my idea, right? Let's not go nicking ideas. There's copyright on that. What's the top price you pay for a set of free rolling stock on a given day? About £15. We are budget model railways. Sorry, that's very true. We shouldn't be talking about chocolate. There's people out there on diets.
Well, they said anything green, so what if your food colour the chocolate green?
Okay. Right. Basic food groups: alcohol, chocolate, chips.
You're not allowed to say that on a live stream.
Ice cream. Can't remember what the fifth one is.
Lollipops. Sweets. Marshmallows. Popcorn.
Right, windows for the scratch roof buildings. Anything you get, sandwiches, cake box, shirt box at Christmas, half your presents will have clear plastic over the top. That's where the windows comes from. Don't buy it as sheets from the hobbycraft stuff, it's way too expensive. Now, if you're building a low relief building, black paper with sellotape over it. You can look at our latest layout. From about 6 inches away, looks no different. Once the building's built, it's black anyway. And one of the things I've stopped doing is cutting the windows all the way through buildings because it's just a waste of time. I've faced them with card and I put black paper behind them and plastic or sellotape because you can't tell the difference from a distance. It's not worth all the fag. Unfortunately, I didn't learn that until I put 20 windows on my station.
Mint chocolate.
No.
Mint white chocolate. Mint white chocolate hobnob. Greetings from Holland. Hello.
Oh, I love the Dutch. Tilburg. Me and Pete, when I was 17, we hiked through Holland and we hiked through Tilburg twice. And in the end, we gave up and got on a train at Tilburg. So I know that was 1981. 1981.
How much did we spend on our 3D printer? Well, overall, we've spent quite a lot on 3D printers.
There's two linked questions there. Would we think about doing a garden railway? Absolutely. Convincing my wife might be slightly different. If I did it, I'd do it in double O because I've seen some good ones. No, because we don't let my wife see what I bought. It's all hidden in cupboards. But it is all paid for by things like the 3D printing. And I sold initially when Doug wanted to do railways. I had a 30-year collection of plastic kits that I hadn't built, tanks and aircraft, and they all got sold on eBay. So most of the original money came from selling 30 years worth of kits. Plastic cover over DD. It's a bit thick. You just need the real thin, almost like cellophane.
Yorkshire tea or PG tips? Well, what is it? Or is it just Asda?
Oh, Earl Grey, mate.
You spent your entire life going, ew, Earl Grey. Then you became lactose intolerant and decided, oh, Earl Grey.
We turned up at, I won't say where, but a camp one night. Cadet-wise, it's about 20 years ago. And it was late, so they gave us a hot drink. And we decided it must be beverage brown. Because we couldn't decide if they'd made coffee in the tea urn or tea in the chocolate urn or what they'd made. But it was just hot, brown and sweet. That's all you could say for it. Yeah, model railways we've done, yes. It is going up on second hand, unfortunately. Yeah, garden railway, yes. Yeah. Yeah, you go. Constructed quickie building, printing out the windows and nobody noticed. Doesn't surprise me. Mint chocolate chip ice cream. Yeah, that's his favourite.
Good work.
Yeah, it's got to be Yorkshire tea, isn't it? There's too many Yorkshire people watching.
Yeah, okay, Yorkshire tea.
Yeah, well, they take it seriously in Yorkshire. They take everything seriously in Yorkshire.
Wensleydale cheese.
We're not going to... Oh, no, yeah, we did enjoy ourselves. We had a very good holiday in Yorkshire this year in Wensleydale, which was very inspiring.
And we went to the cheese tasting place.
We went to Wensleydale cheese.
Cheese.
Grommet. Lovely bit of cheese, grommet.
But then I liked the really boring plain stuff, but it tasted really good.
Oh, that's some great cheese there. So we've done cheese, we've done chocolate, we've done cake, we've done tea.
Done a bit of ice cream.
We've done ice cream now.
Pizza.
No, we're not doing pizzas. I accept that pineapple on pizzas is wrong. Okay. So we got any more model railway questions?
It would appear not.
It would appear not. Have we got anybody watching still?
Yeah, 1989. Dropping so suddenly.
Well, it's because we slagged off Yorkshire.
Oh,
that's the Yorkshireman gone.
Oh, so back up again. We're all good.
Oh, we're all back up. Need some more questions though, people.
Yeah. Hello. We're bored.
What I will show you while we're waiting. Stopping Train Britain. Alexander Freighter. I bought this for, I think, £1, £2. I've got 2 copies because one of the later ones had photographs in it, more photographs than this one. It's just a lovely book to read. He just travelled around. He knew nothing about trains, and he travelled around England in the 1980s before a lot of the branch lines went. It's all on DMUs, but it's just written wonderfully. If you ever see a copy at a sensible price, I would treat yourself. Thanks, Richard and Tracy. You need to go, presumably, Richard, to get your track put down. Is that what you mean? Excellent.
Never This Yorkshire will come after you.
Yeah, they will. They never forget either. Yeah, it's Models and Hobbies, as far as I'm aware, was open, but obviously no shops open at the moment. I mean, we know Sebastian there very well, and we've had quite a bit of nice stuff off him over the years. It's a good little shop if you're that way when they're open again. Might be worth having a look online. Shaun the Sheep lives in my front room.
I wish. It's
my favourite films.
1:45 in the morning in India.
Is it? I've got somebody watching in India then. Because Indian railways they should be huge, but they don't seem to do model railways, are they?
It's Northumberland. Up north, I assume.
No, I've never been that far. Not an American layout in the future. In the future, yes, possibly. Use insulation foam with layout base. No, I haven't, but I know people do.
How many pieces is the double-ended diesel shunter kit? So I assume our original. That's
double-ended shunter kit.
I'm assuming our centre cab.
Oh right, it's a lot. It's 18 actually. I know that off the top of my head.
But again, they're all like simple pieces. It's not each individual grill bit goes on. All sides are a piece and things like that.
Another good place to find Locus is Classic Rail. He has his website, has a shop which won't be open, but he has a website. AGR, if they have an eBay site, they have quite a lot of cheap locos. I've just bought, I haven't done a video yet, but I've just bought a boxed, pristine condition, the LMR Red, not LMS Red 060, one of the recent Hornby ones, for £20 including postage, and I had a Class 58 off them for a good money as well. Scout around, there's a few places still doing cheap stuff. Obviously Hatton's is always good, although I've never used them. Recommended books, yeah, it would go on forever, but where do we get our track from? Exhibitions, Classic Rail when it was open, and eBay, strangely enough. Track can, if you shop around carefully, you can get track quite cheaply on eBay. I've only got caught once, bought a load, didn't look at it when it arrived, it was all bundled up, put it on a shelf. When I got it out a year later, it was all knackered, which I wasn't very happy about. Yeah, we've been to York Train Museum.
Engage micro layout.
Well, we don't really do end, do we? We've gone off end.
Where do all our layouts go when we finish them? Into the shed, and then eventually eBay.
Yeah, sold. Yeah, pretty much. Railbus. Yeah, that's only 6 bits. Yeah.
Tonji starting out of our railbus kit.
It's 6 bits.
Yeah, the railbus is 6 bits.
No, I haven't tried making any of the well, they were Kitmaster, Airfix, and now Daypole loco kits, because there's no point because I can't motorise them. But I have built the wagon kits, and I'm a big fan of the wagon kits. They're great fun. Yeah, never been to Northumberland yet.
If you had to save one loco from a fire, what one?
I'm going to have to think about that one. I'm going to have to think about that. Probably my 2012 Collector's Saddle Tank Black 040 loco.
I think I'd grab the hard drive out of the computer because we can't afford to lose the raw files for all them 3D printed kits. Yeah, railway books at the moment really cheap on eBay, but do shop around. The price variation is huge, absolutely huge. Literally from 20 quid down to 4 quid. I was looking at a book I bought yesterday, which she's not very happy about, and it started at £12 and I bought it for £2.60. So do shop around. I was not happy about it because I kept saying you keep buying.
Because I keep buying books. He's not happy because of the money. My wife's not happy because I've got nowhere to put them.
Keep spending my money.
But I'm sat at home with nothing to do and I can't, so I might as well read books.
3D printers are in my bedroom, therefore.
Favourite of the big four railways? Not the Great Western, because everybody does Great Western. Yeah, the Southern, because that's where we live. I like the green coaches.
Yeah, we don't have any green coaches.
But we don't have any green coaches. There we go. I need to buy some more coaches.
I'll just 3D print you some and you can paint them.
What was the radius on that small area? The one with the tight corners. Well, I built two. Market Town, which was 18 inches across, 9 inches.
So it's 9-inch radius.
9-inch radius. And then I built another little one, which was only 7.5-inch radius. Enjoying watching in India. Hello to India. Why is there no model railways big in India? It's all that population and no interest in model railways. It's strange, isn't it? I've got a few buses, but no, I'm not really into it. Tanks. I could bore for England on tanks. I've forgotten more than I remembered on tanks, especially post 1945 tanks.
Nah, it's all good. We got them on 2 hard drives, USB sticks to the cloud. They're everywhere. Yeah, it's all good.
In fact, I knew so much about tanks that when one of the supposed experts wrote a book on it, I found 27 errors. Wrote to him and explained how many errors he'd made. He was actually a World War II expert, but he'd written a book about post-1945 tanks. And he ended up going to the Tank Museum to see who was right, and it was me. So we can all be rivet counters when we want to.
N-scale couplings suck, yep.
Yep. I toyed with N until I couldn't get them to couple when I wanted to shunt. So I went on the N-gauge forum and said, honestly, guys, can I shunt reliably, easily in N-gauge? And the answer was no. Not unless I was prepared to spend money on KD couplings, magnets, blah, 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 blah. And they were honest enough to say, no, you can't really shunt reliably on it without spending lots of time or money. So I gave up.
Can you design a 3D printed diesel loco engine to go in a depot scene? Or do you mean like just the engine?
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, you could do. No, we can't 3D print anything factual. It would, firstly we'd need to get hold of plans, which would then have to be, every single measurement would then have to be copied from that onto the 3D. Then we'd have to work out how to actually make it. Even if we had a model of it, even if we could scan it, it doesn't tell you how to make it as a model. It just does you a 3D image. It's just not worth the time. Or for some rivet counter to turn around and go, the door handles are 0.5 millimeters too low. So no, we'll never do anything factual.
Can this live stream last forever? Nah, it's not.
No, we're finished by 9 at the latest. People will get bored eventually.
Yeah.
He's bored already.
I'm not.
Yeah, we could look at doing an engine if I ever do a depot. I've seen photos of them. But again, it's the old problem of where would we get the images? Where would we get the plans? How long would it take to design? You can 3D print lots of things, but it doesn't mean you should.
I mean, I could experiment with an engine, but no promises.
The thing is with N-gauge as well, don't forget that an N-gauge standard radius, minimum radius, is 18 inches. And you can get 00 around 18 inches. So you can make a 00 gauge layout in the same space as N-gauge. Okay, you can't run as long a locos, but you can do it. And you can do it at a fraction of the cost because it's all much cheaper second hand. Model minutes. If it looks right, it's good enough for us, which is why we do freelance stuff, but it's no good if it's factual. We missed any?
No, not yet.
Yeah, copyright issues are huge. So, I mean, there's something we were asked to make recently, and when I looked into it, I found an article on, I think it was Rapido who'd made one, and they paid a small fortune for licenses because the licenses is owned by one of the museums. So it's not as simple as I go and make something factual.
What ballast method do we use? Ballast mat, roofing felt.
Yeah, absolutely. I would never ballast track again. It's just not worth the fag, to be honest. 7 inches, yeah. Now, if you haven't got 18 inches, you can get 00 around 15, but you won't be able to pull much. Do you want to answer the how is our BMR kit building going?
Oh no, that's for model minutes because we sent in our kits.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
What's something we want to 3D print but haven't yet? Well, the steam.
Yeah, steam loco. We're going to do an 040 steam loco body
for OO gauge.
For OO gauge, I'm going to do a little pannier tank in 040 because nobody makes one, even Hornby. And that's probably this month. Look out for that. That book cost me £2, and in it was the photo of steam locos with a plate over the wheels for a dockside, which is how we were able to do the 009 steam loco. But it's also got some lovely pannier tanks in there. So, do you have any Lego trains?
I do. I was just looking for them. I have a lot of Lego. It's just.
He's got shelves full of Lego trains.
Yeah, like these cubes here. Apart from them ones, which are drawers.
He did Lego before he did railways and 3D printing and airsoft.
The problem with my Lego, it's all kind of in pieces now. But you know.
I thought Lego was expensive till he got into railways and airsoft.
There's a Lego train, but it's kind of in pieces. Yeah, it's got no front anymore.
Have I ever swapped a ring-filled motor for a CD motor? No, and I probably won't, because I can generally get ring-filled motors running all right. With a good controller, because we keep harping back to this, but most locos, it's not the loco that's the problem, it's the controller.
Yeah, getting to the post office is the difficult bit. See, we're convenient. We have drop and go for all our orders and everything, which basically means we just pay all the postage up front, and then we just walk into the post office, leave the parcels and go.
Proper ballast might look better, but it takes forever to do. It's very messy, and if you have a problem with your track, it takes forever to lift the point or the track and replace it. And it also tends to make points very unreliable if you get a bit of grit in them. And it's a compromise. I'm interested in running trains. I'm not interested in making a fine scale model of a real railway. I think if you look at our latest shunting layout, you're going to be hard pushed to see that looks any different from a distance than ballast. And it means that if there's a problem with a track, I can swap it, and I don't have any reliability problems. More importantly, that layout took me a week to build. When you see guys who've spent...
Be careful with your foot on my computer, because if you press the power button...
We die.
The whole thing.
When you I know one guy who built a loft layout and it took him 2 years to ballast it. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. But if you're doing a small layout, I mean, do whatever you like, but I would never ballast track again.
Any 3D printing of barges or boats?
No, because people like Waylander that do it way better. We would just be copying what they do. What we're trying to do is avoiding copying what other people do. What do I think of steampunk? I think it's a really clever idea, but I think it's misguided. I know the guy that does the steampunk, and I think he's fantastic. And I know why Hornby have done it. But it comes back to what I said earlier. We don't need fantasy. We need generic, easy model railways. We need people being given permission just to make a model railway without being told what era, what location, what date, what colour scheme. We don't need steampunk to do that. If it brings kids in, that's great. And I think it's a fabulous range. But I think it'd be a shame if the hobby went down a fantasy route instead of a budget entry route, is my answer.
Will we ever do buildings? Yes, we will, at some point. We've started.
Lego Trains Garden Railway, somebody's building. Yes, when I was a kid, Lego was just blocks. Yep. 1960s, 1970s, yep, just blocks. When you see the harbour layout, I've got a load of boats from another company which we'll give a shout out to. It's a guy called Waylander. If you go on eBay, and they're so cheap and good, it's not worth us.
That's interesting because we've got a user now called I Don't Like Boats.
Yep.
How's the loft layout going?
Slowly.
Not much progress.
It goes in fits and bursts. So if I wasn't poorly, I would have been up there doing it. It will now progress because I've got a track plan I love, I'm enthusiastic and I'm inspired by, and that's what I've been waiting for. So the whole Race Town scene and the race station and all that has really, really got me inspired. I've got the buildings, I'm building slowly for it, so it will come along, but it's a long-term job that. It's a couple of years job, around other stuff. Have we got anything I haven't seen?
Cliff Railways?
No. Don't know much about them, to be honest. Army Depot. Interestingly, there was the old Army Depot at Ifield, on the old Uckfield line, was there until 4 years ago, when they finally converted it to houses. Tragically, the Lavender line were given the opportunity some years ago to acquire it and didn't. They were also given the opportunity to acquire more line and didn't. It would have made a wonderful depot. Just use your imagination. I would find a few photos. It's buildings with ramps and tanks and stores. You know, I would Google a few images online and build what looks right. That's what we always do. You know, is my quarry correct? Probably not. It looks right for me. It works for me. I like the idea of having a factory and a warehouse as well as the quarry. Just have a look, build what looks right, convert some of the Metcalfe buildings, that sort of thing.
Yes, we did clap for the NHS.
Yes, we did clap for the NHS. Yeah. When are you going to do a video on the raised town scene?
Loft layout.
The loft layout. When we build it is the answer to that one. Hornby 91s. We've got a couple of 91, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I find this comment about preserve railway model railways are very popular because you can run what you want. I run what I want anyway. I don't get this whole, if I model a preserve railway, I can run what I want. Just build a model railway and run what you want anyway. It's your railway. Why does it have to be preserved? I get why people like it, and I know they're hugely popular. I mean, Pico have even done a book on it. But it's a station with whatever trains you want on it. You know, but I do that anyway.
Favourite loco?
Go on, I've done enough talking.
Coronation Scott.
That's your favourite model one? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've got so many favourites. Whatever I've been working on at the moment, I think. I've got too many. It's like somebody asking me what's my favourite piece of music. I've been listening to heavy rock for 40 years. You know, I couldn't possibly begin to pick a favourite. Depends what mood I'm in. And same with locos, I think. But one of the diesels certainly would be a diesel, almost certainly. I really like my Class 06 actually. My little Hornby Class 06. Nope, not been to Swanley. Textured spray paint to make your own ballast mat. I'd have to try that. I've not heard of textured spray paint. That sounds like fun. No, I didn't watch Thomas and Friends. However, in the 1960s, about 1968, 69, we were reading the books then, and I vividly remember reading them as a child from the local library. I had no interest in railways at all until Doug was 9, 7 years ago. I was a military and aviation modeller. With literally no interest in railways, model or real, none at all. He got into it. I wanted to support him, and then got bitten by the bug. And it's rather taken over, as my poor wife will attest. But I literally, everything we've done has been done in 6 years. I knew zip, literally zip, at the beginning. Didn't even know which end of a loco was which. We, like everybody else, said we'd never do diesels, because horrid diesels, you know, steam trains. And then we had an 060 chassis, and the only body I could scratch build for it was a copy of a Class 08, because it's boxy. And we got a magazine from Smith's that was about all the diesel classes, just so I could find out a bit about an 08, and I just got taken away by diesels. I've got too many now.
Low profile buildings.
What, as a kit?
Yep.
We've toyed with it, yeah. Where do we get low profile buildings? Yeah, I'd buy a kit and cut it in half. I have bought a lot of the low profile kits, and there are some really nice ones. Scale Scenes do a nice one, 3DK do some nice ones. They're so easy to make though, I'd always make my own now. But yeah, they're super quick terraced houses. Buy them, cut them in half, you get a back and a front. You get 2 kits for one. The Metcalfe ones are lovely, but they're just way too expensive. I wanted them for Market Town, and they're £15 to £18 for a row of 4, and I needed 3 rows. You know, I haven't got 50 odd plus quid just to build some buildings. Not when I can make them myself, you know, for next to nothing.
Where do we recommend fairly cheap rolling stock? Our website or eBay?
eBay, or again, give Richard at Classic Rail Ring, because although he doesn't put them on his website, he's got boxes of the stuff. And I'm sure he would send it out. It's no point in putting £4 wagons on eBay, but as I understand it, if you ring him or email him and you're not too fussy, he will send the stuff out. Now with DCC, we keep covering. DCC will never be as cheap as second-hand DC. Until it is, we're not going to do it. You know, we do what we do, really. Everyone makes fun of you at school for having a model railway. Yeah, they will. But then, unfortunately, they'll make fun of you.
Yeah, that happened to me until they realised we had 16,000 subscribers. Then I got apologies from everyone.
And you earn £200 a month off your YouTube channel. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you know, I've worked with teenagers for 20 years. And the tragedy is that the people that want to take the piss will find something to take the piss out of anybody. Just unfortunately ignore them. Carry on with what you do. They're just sad individuals. Bullies always are. They're always sad individuals who need to bully other people to make themselves feel good, and it's as simple as that, I'm afraid.
Have you ever played a train simulator? No.
No?
Although we had the, do you remember back on the old laptop, the really old one, your old work one, with that little train simulator thing?
Yeah.
That was like a 2002 simulator, or the graphics.
Hospital railways, light railways, South America. Yeah, hospital railways are good. We had one of the West well-known ones only a few miles from here, which was the Hellingly Electric one. What does my wife and Doug's mum think of the railway? She thinks they've taken over the entire world as far as she's concerned, and I don't really blame her. However,
look at my desk; it's covered in it.
It does give us something in common, which we probably wouldn't have if we didn't do it. At Doug's age, is useful.
Useful? What are you using, Mina? That's it.
Yeah. Alex Reese, are you able to see my questions? Depends what question you asked, Alex. I don't know the cheapest way to do DCC. We don't do DCC. I wouldn't know because it's not cheap, I suppose, is the answer. Compared to DC, the benefits for me don't justify the cost. So I'm sorry. We've looked at doing it just to be helpful, and it's just so expensive compared to DC. That it's just not worth us. We would buy a DCC starter set to do what with? It'd have one loco which we could run up and down, which I can do with DC. For us, it's just not going to happen.
Do we have any other hobbies? Yes, airsoft, but we can't exactly show that on here. Might get a bit demonetised.
Yeah, we do it. Doug's into airsoft, and we've done that a few times. Doug's
can't go at the moment though because all the sites are off.
Doug's an Explorer Scout, aren't you? Doug's an Explorer Scout, and also is a young leader at Scouts.
Can't do any of the competition, Mike, because there was meant to be one last weekend.
And then I'm also, as we've mentioned at the very beginning, I'm a very senior officer in the Army Cadet Force, which is allegedly a hobby, but it's really a part-time job. So that has taken quite a lot of time. I've done 40 days, I think, so far this year.
Yeah, we use Microsoft Movie Maker.
Yeah.
I keep trying to experiment with HitFilm, but I understand it. It's much better, but I don't like the transitions in it.
Yeah, they're a little bit about people taking the piss. I'm afraid they will, and my comments earlier, I think fishing's up, sitting by a lake doing nothing, but I wouldn't take anybody piss out of anybody for doing it. If they enjoy doing it, they enjoy doing it. Unfortunately, it's just inadequate people who feel the need to take the piss out of people, I'm afraid.
Yeah, model minutes. As soon as you explain that you've done well,
right.
they do tend to shut up.
They do tend to shut up.
Yeah. Oh, why's that gone down?
Shouldn't have killed it because it goes through everything else, doesn't it? Can you use your camera? Can you plug your camera?
No, I can't plug the camera.
Basically,
we're up and live.
I've got no picture.
We just had a power cut.
We had a power failure, only for about 1 second.
We had a power cut in the house,
and it's shut the camera down.
Yeah, everything's shut down, all the computer and everything. But we've lost the camera.
Yeah, you can hear us. Yeah, we just we don't appear to have a camera. You can't plug your camera in.
Yeah, it hasn't happened in this part of Eastbourne. I don't know. Maybe it was just our house, but we had a power cut.
Yeah. So can people see us?
No one can see us. We're not streaming.
All right. Well, sure.
Yes, Dad.
Well, we are streaming because people
Dad,
don't comment.
we are not streaming.
It says we can hear.
Dad, we are not streaming. Dad, shut up. We're not streaming. Now we're streaming.
Right, are we back? You're wrong.
No, Dad. The chat is going. The video was not.
No, this. sound was if the picture wasn't?
No, because we weren't streaming because this wasn't on. It was called the
okay.
delay.
We can hear you. He's struggling with technology.
I'm not struggling with technology. I've had a power cut and you're trying to tell me I'm wrong.
He's not good at being wrong.
I'm not wrong.
See what I mean? We're a teenager for 20 years. Tell them they're wrong. They just can't take it. You can insult all sorts of things, but they can't bear being wrong. I was insufferable when I was his age. In fact, I didn't stop being insufferable until I was about 40, but there you go. Yeah, thank you. I was right.
No, because basically we started streaming before the delay ran out, so the delay stopped.
No.
Yes.
Are you saying that J. Paul Anderson is wrong? Are you saying that one of our subscribers is wrong? Anyway, we're back now. You fixed the technology. Right, we're going to finish in 15 minutes, so you need to talk.
No.
Right, can we have some more questions then?
I no longer like you, J. Paul Anderson.
Yeah, at 30 I still hate being wrong. I wouldn't know, I've never been wrong. I was in middle management many years ago, and the first board meeting I did, my department had done something wrong, and I just said, yeah, sorry, we got it wrong. And you could hear a pin drop in this boardroom, because nobody had ever admitted they'd done anything wrong. And it used to be appalling watching these people squirm, trying to make something they'd done somebody else's fault. And what really used to annoy me was the managers who'd drop their own team in it to avoid admitting their own errors. It was appalling, really. They all just wanted to be promoted, was the trouble.
No, Dad is never right.
Right. Yeah, you can't even read that one. A London Underground layout. No, I know you've mentioned that a few times. I spent too many years commuting on the London Underground to have anything other than disdain for it, I'm afraid. In the end, I hated it so much because I used to work in the West End of London and commute up. Whatever the weather, I would always walk, because it's actually quicker to walk from Victoria to the West End than take a tube. So I'm afraid, no, there's no chance. The only interest I've got in London Underground is the London Underground trains running on the Isle of Wight, which Doug and his wife did because I recommended it. It was a really bumpy ride, and I'm sorry I missed it because they're going to replace them soon. And they're the only underground trains I've got any interest in.
Throwing someone under a bus. Can I actually throw you under a bus? Because I was right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, the customer's always right. He's quite right.
You're not the customer.
No, but the subscribers are, and you're telling them they're wrong. So, sorry, but you can't do it. Basic business skills. Sorry, mate.
I could just press end stream now. Yeah, I got the power. You should be supporting me.
Right, I wish I had a video on Dave Wagons and now have an additional triggered addiction. You're good. Yeah, no, the Dapper wagons are good. I know. My brother to say we're back online. Thanks, mate.
Go away.
No, Doug, my wife, his mum. I was going to make a joke there. I can't. Yeah, the wagons are good. I know somebody said, look, they're not that cheap because they're £9. No, they're not as cheap as buying some second-hand wagons, but they're half the price of a new wagon, and you get the fun of building them. So I do like them. I've got a couple of cattle wagons to build at some point.
Now you're getting called.
Hi, mate. Yeah, no, thanks, mate. Yeah, great. I'm talking to you online now if you watch. Thanks, bro. Bye. Interactive, you see.
This is why you get friends to watch.
I haven't got any friends.
I think just spam message me going, it's back on.
I'm not sure about passenger trains being less interesting. They're good for shunting, and I like the liveries on some of them. But yeah, the real variety does come from freight. And of course, freight is in the UK what kept the railways going, not passengers. People like me that come into the hobby knowing nothing about everything assume railways were passengers. But actually, the majority of it was about freight. Passengers don't pay for railways.
How much are your 3D printed wagons? OO gauge, £5 each. N gauge, £10 for 3.
No, I wouldn't do a Welsh layout with a mine because everybody does it.
We'd be able to make full kits for sale. Well, the problem
Not
with that is we
motorised
can't make
ones.
wheels. Well, and even for chassis, we can't make wheels.
We toyed with it when the Hornby chassis was available, but it's a good job we didn't because it's now not available. So the problem with all of this is, where's the chassis come from? Yes, we could put the Kato chassis in, and then when it went up 4 times in price recently because they redid it, we've got a problem because we couldn't put the price up. So we'll never include the chassis because they're just too unreliable source.
Also means if the chassis doesn't work, it's our fault.
Yeah. Why did you decide to start YouTube? That's his question, really.
I don't know. I was just like, loads of people did it, and I wanted to do it too. Because I had my own channel at that time, the stop motion channel. Because I already had that, and then you said you wanted to do one for this. And then I used to annoy you about how my channel was doing so much better than yours. And then this happened.
Well, I think as well, I said to Doug, do you think anybody would watch us doing some... And he watched things like Everard Junction and said, well, people watch this. So we made some videos, and for a year it did nothing, and then all of a sudden it went boing, and it hasn't stopped. I'm not even going to discuss DCC anymore. We've mentioned this so often through this, I'm afraid. Until it's as cheap as second-hand DC, I've got no interest in DCC. We've got a small shunter that goes on the Kato chassis and Engage in the range.
For both the 11103 and 11109.
So and we've got rolling stock in Engage, so it can be done. I have to say I'm very impressed with the little Kato pocket line steam loco and coaches in Engage. It's the only thing that might tempt me to do Engage again.
Other railway YouTubers?
I'll tell you the one I will give a shout to, and I think he's stopped now, unfortunately. He's a guy called Barry Davis. And what I loved about him, his layout's got no scenery, no ballast, no track, few old Hornby and Trying buildings scattered around in his shed, but he's just hugely enthusiastic and he just enjoys himself. And it's just an antidote, like we are, to this got to be fine scale, got to be fine scale. Doesn't even have any scenery, doesn't have any kind of ballast or anything. Loves his trains though. Great videos to watch. So the 016.5 we covered a bit earlier. Yes, we have got plans to do it, but when, I don't know.
It's still buffering. No, I'm afraid the buffering's your Wi-Fi, because my stream health is 100% and we haven't had a single drop frame. So.
Tippler wagon or hopper wagon, depends. I built the Tippler wagons actually to put scrap metal in, and in the end I've used them for stone. Obviously the hoppers would just do stone or coal. It's whatever you think you'd like to paint up the most. I like my Tipplers.
We'll get both.
Or get both. Yeah, why not get both?
We've updated the whole website now, so we've got our own checkout page built into the site. You can make an account to track your orders. That set up all of last night till like 1 in the morning doing it.
Favourite railway, preserved or mainline? We did enjoy the little line up to Gunny's Lake and whatever from Plymouth. We had a good day, my wife and I, on the Spa Valley Railway last year, which is a good little one. I want to get on Swanage. You did Swanage, didn't you? You liked Swanage, didn't you? Yeah. Barry Davis is still going. Good. Well, if you get 5 minutes, have a look at Barry Davis's videos. They're great fun. Absolutely great fun. I'd like his loco budget, but they are great fun. Favourite railway. Yeah. I like the Kent and East Sussex. I'll always like the Kent and East Sussex.
Because probably our nearest one.
Yeah, it's just nice. The Bluebell's good. I've never been on it. We've worked with the Bluebell extensively because we do our shows and things with them. Although their anti-diesel policy, I don't think they're going to be able to hang on to forever. But the Bluebell is nice.
We had 1,041 total viewers now.
Excellent. Spa Valley, yeah, great. Doing a video of your top bargains. Yeah, we have done a few bargain videos. Because we did one as one of our first videos, because I bought a loco for £1 and another loco for £2. I'm not going to beat that.
Are we able to hold up our row gauge wagons? Well, I don't really know where they are. I know where your tippers are. I don't know where the hoppers are.
No.
How high the shipping charges are to the US.
Depends what you're ordering.
Oh, it depends as well from what company.
Yeah.
If you mean us, 1 to 3 kits are £5, 4 to 10 kits £6.50, and 11 or more kits is £12.
There isn't much difference in 787-776 in theory, but it's quite noticeable actually. It is quite noticeable. Could you model something with battery train controllers? No, I don't like battery train controllers. The batteries wear out. However, we did have a guy that ran a Kato chassis from a phone battery.
From a portable phone charger.
For how long did he run it for?
Quite a long time. But what he did is he did it into one of our controllers.
Oh, excellent.
So he did it straight in.
Yes, we have thought about garden railways. But as of the moment, we have railways in the loft, railways in the conservatory, railways in the shed. I could build a railway in the garden, but I'm not sure it would justify the divorce fees. If I did do it, I'd do it in double O. I love the idea of doing double O in the garden because you could run some whacking great trains. I might do one day. I can see me doing it one day. If only because I've got a box full of second-hand track.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know because we don't get involved with sound. we mentioned that earlier. I know what the Minories track layout is. It's one of the most famous ones by Cyril Freezer. And it's a simple little shunting layout that folds in on itself. And it's been expanded to do, you can use it to do passenger stations and shunting yards and all sorts of things. It's very common. If you Google it, it'll pop up online, no trouble at all.
Best point motors in your opinion? I keep failing because I keep trying to make our own using electromagnetic solenoids, and I keep buying the wrong solenoids. It's just annoying, but we're trying to make our own point motors slowly. By the end of the quarantine, I am aiming to have a working point motor.
Yeah, I mean, I got from Classic Rail cheap a long while ago a load of the Pico, I think it's PL11 side-mounted point motors. I paid £3 each for them, and that's what I use. We tried putting the old points underneath once, and it broke. A bloody nightmare to replace. So I'm not a big fan of point motors. Best way to put your controller in the layout. What do you mean? As in fix it to the layout?
There's 2 screw holes in the bottom of the controller,
Yeah.
which we put in there to screw down.
Yeah.
Double-sided tape is how it's on yours.
Yeah, it hasn't worked though.
You need glue.
Yeah, no, I fixed it. Done it another way. So we've got about 4 or 5 more minutes, and then we'll call that quits, I think. We've had over 1,000 people watch, which is great. Would I consider voluntary? No, only because as I say, I've already done 40 days this year with my sort of Army Cadet hobby. So yeah, I'd love to, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. No, there's no compatibility problem between Pico track and Hornby set track. We use whatever we've got. I run Lima, Airfix, the stuff from the cheap railway because I got a bag cheap. They did a magazine how to build a railway, came with track, and I got a box full for nothing. So I just link it all together. Yep, exactly. If you can reach the points, you don't need point motors.
We use Google SketchUp and Ultimaker Cura to design our models.
For points, you can use cheap micro servo motors. It says there. No, there's no more Engage on the horizon. It doesn't sell as well. It's fiddly to make. Yeah, no. So the Engage range is pretty much done, really.
Yeah, commendable if we can make our own point motors. We'll probably end up doing the same sort of thing we did with controller, 3D printing. But unlike how Hornby has the 3D printed huts, we'll probably do lots of different varieties, but not just a boring hut. So if we were to make it work, we'd probably do like a signal box cover for a point motor and things like that.
What's annoying is 2 years ago, we found the radio controlled motors, which Pico now sell for about £15, for £2 each on eBay from China. We couldn't work out how to make the wiring work. Obviously somebody at Pico could. They've now bought exactly the same motor and they're £15 each. You can buy them on eBay for £2. So I would strongly recommend you look at the Pico mounting. But personally, I don't like all this stuff underneath. But there you go. Well, if you're going to buy a new shunter, then buy the Hornby Bagnall. Every single time, they're just great little locos, very reliable, very slow running. We do the live streams every so often. We do them too often. I think they don't work so well. You like doing them, though, don't you?
Yeah.
The last one we did was really good, but we didn't keep a copy of it. If anybody's got a copy, I'd love to see it, because we had quite a bit of banter going, but it got trolled, so we had to delete it. Train spotters. Don't know. Nothing I've ever got interested. I'm not interested enough in the real things to do it. I can understand why people did in the day. Because it was a big mainstream hobby. But some of it I don't quite get. I've read some accounts of it in Traction magazine that are very amusing, and I've read some that are boring as dull as ditch water. I throw away the electric bit and use micro switches to stop my e-gens, simple and no electronics. Well, you must have some electronics because they've got to be connected to some kind of power source. Unless you found a way of generating electricity and transmitting it without using electricity. Right, I think 2 more minutes and then we'll say goodnight and thank you.
Yep.
And we'll do one of these a little again. At the end of the live stream, we got trolled. Got filled full of comments that we couldn't have, and we couldn't shut them down quick enough. Because we couldn't then leave it online, because the comments were still all on there, we had to delete it, which is a real shame, because actually, for all sorts of reasons, me and him had a lot of banter going. And it was really quite fun, but it's just one of those things. What tack did you use for the bends on your micro gauge? Just some old flexi trap that I bought for £1 from a car boot sale.
How's the loft coming along? Not much.
There will be. When I'm a bit better and I can get up there, we'll do some updates. Because it's the only place I can run lots of big trains and no-codes. So.
Any plans for model building vids?
Possibly. Yeah, stay at home. Yeah, just save lives. Yeah, there we go. We've done quite well. We've gone all the way through, and just as we're finishing, we got one of them. There's few people just coming on board now, is there? Yeah. You got any more questions? We'll give it a couple minutes. If we say 2 more minutes, if we get some questions, we'll answer those. The trollers, it was all politics because when the election was on. It's just one of those things. We got attacked by a bot, I imagine, and it seemed to come from Momentum's head office, I would think, judging by the comments. What
countries have we travelled to?
Loads.
You've gone more than me.
Loads. Yeah, most of Europe. Me and Karen, my wife, have done America, and I've done a couple of places in the Far East, Hong Kong, Germany. Yeah, most of Europe, basically. Most of Europe.
I've been to Hamburg. You haven't?
We don't know about the GCSEs yet, do we?
How the GCSE? What's a GCSE? I don't know what that is. It's okay. I pranked myself by doing 12 years of school for nothing.
Well, he's all right because he tried hard at his mocks. So if they use their mocks and their predicted grades, he's okay. But some of his friends decided that the mocks weren't that important and didn't put a lot of effort into them, which obviously they're a little less than happy about now. Do you know what your next video is? Yes, it's tomorrow, and it's an update on the quarry layout. No, we did the CD motor conversion earlier. No, I might try one day. Sawdust. I could never make dried sawdust work. I never worked out how you're supposed to get the colour into it. But there you go. Roads we had at the very beginning. Just use white self-adhesive labels for the road markings, and grey paint on your surface of your choice. It's really odd watching the delay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got any more questions before we go? If you're out there and you haven't asked the questions, last chance really to chuck a couple of questions in. We'll just hang on for a second and see if we get any more.
It's because of the 60-second timeout they have. If they've got a question now, they can't type it for a while.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't do patience.
Nah.
Never done patience.
They all have to do patience. Hi, we'll be leaving soon.
I haven't got the patience to do patience.
That just doesn't
make
sense.
I know sawdust and paint, but how do you get the paint in the sawdust without it being a gloopy mess? You use dry poster paint to mix it first, which is what I think they used to do. I just don't get that one.
It's kind of boring being off school, yeah, I know. I just have work. I think I do more work not at school now because...
Because?
Because it's just 3D printing. It's just, ugh. The orders, my friend. Whoa. Can we send you a $5?
No. Nice try. Should I buy your industrial shunter or a BMR shunter? I think the industrial shunter is probably the nicer of the two models. It reflects a little bit of what we've learnt about construction.
It's easier to build as well.
Yeah, it's easier to build. How many layouts have you made? Lost count. Over a dozen, probably.
Easily over that.
I've made lots of shunting layouts that I've sold. Watery acrylic paint in the sawdust. Yeah, it's a bit messy, isn't it?
Food colouring.
Food colouring.
Hair dye.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, anyway, now I use grass mat stuck straight over the hill former and then bottle-shaped static grass on top of that. So which works great. If you see my latest layout, exhibition layout videos, don't have to paint it or anything. Then you just whap your grass mat down, and I buy my grass mat cheap from China, so.
It's all our fault. He started another shunting layout.
Yeah, I've built one in 2 weeks, and I'm just starting the harbour one. So, fabric dye, okay.
Are we getting schoolwork to do at home? Yeah.
And what did your geography teacher tell you?
I was the only person in the class that's done it. Which I find amazing, because I've not done much work. I've been doing lots of work, just not much schoolwork.
Is it profitable making selling model railways on eBay? It depends. Some of the layouts have flown out, and some I've had trouble selling. Some of it's a bit borderline by the time you've bought the materials to make it. Some, like Market Town, were very profitable.
I brought one of your kits the other day. What sort of ETA is on the delivery time? Currently, we got all printers up and running perfectly fine, so we're printing relatively quickly. Assuming we get yours printed before Monday, it'll be shipped out Monday. If not, it'll be the next Monday.
Yeah, we can only send orders once a week.
Because we only go to the post office once a week now.
And the Royal Mail at the moment is taking about a week to get through the post for all sorts of understandable reasons. So it's at least 2 to 3 weeks from when we've had the order, basically. Because it's a big pack, like we get a huge amount at the moment. So it's not your order arrives and we print it. It could be a week before we get to print it. Mm-hmm. Bearing in mind that each model takes something like 6 or 7 hours to print, you can only produce 2 or 3 models a day. Do I prefer railways to army stuff? It just depends what mood I'm in at the time. I like both. They're two totally different. One is quite full on because of the role I'm in. I'm in a senior command role, and railways is relaxing. So it's 2 different things, really.
No, the school sets homework rather than online classes.
Puffer bottle is brilliant, but don't buy the one. I can't remember the name of the company, because it's actually just a curry powder bottle that they charge £5 for, and you buy for £1. And in the end, we use a drinks bottle with a hole cut in the top. But the puffer works quite well, actually. It's much better than paying 40 quid for a static rails applicator and electrocuting yourself, in my case.
Twice.
Keep electrocuting myself with a static rails.
And almost blowing my phone up because you were connected to a mic into my phone.
That's right.
And then my phone took ages to turn on, and I actually thought you'd blown it.
No, we don't need to work inertia into the tube controller, because you can do. It's an old-fashioned thing, really. I get it, but I'm not that bothered.
What's working inertia into the controller?
It's a way of stopping it, and it continues on a little bit, as I understand it. They used to put all sorts of things on the old controllers. Most disappointing loco ever bought. Yeah, the class 40 with a warship that I bought recently that's supposed to work and doesn't. And the most disappointing was a class 24 that I bought, and when it arrived, the bogey's broken. And I contacted the guy, and he went, "No, it runs." Yeah, did you run it up down a straight bit of track? Yes, right, well, it won't go around corners, so it doesn't run. And I had a devil of a job getting him to take it back. Got no couplings on it. It all been changed to 3-link couplings, which you couldn't see in the photos. I had a devil of a job getting him to take it back. So yeah, that was the worst one. Well, portable layout. All our exhibition layouts were portable. That's why they were made from cardboard. Ever driven a Green Goddess? No, I haven't. I am old, but I'm not that old. What's coming out locos are you on the lookout for? What upcoming locos are you on the lookout for? Nothing new myself. Yeah, I electrocuted myself with a 14 quid static rails applicator as well. And please don't send lots of comments in about how you can make them out of T-strainers and fly swatters. I know you can. If I can electrocute myself with a commercial one, just imagine the damage I can cause with a made-up one.
Blow yourself up.
I don't do electrics. I don't do electrics, and I don't do plumbing. I'll have a go at most other things.
Oops, I'm doing electronics for A-level.
Yeah. Bricklaying, all sorts of things I'll have a go at, but I don't do electronics or plumbing. Especially not at the same time. The people don't understand with the 3D printing. The average time for one kit is 6 hours. The more bits there are, the more.
Which is all right being at home at the moment, because I can get through 4 or 5 kits a day.
But when he's at school and I'm working, then we're down to about 1 kit a day. And if we can sometimes get in a peak time perhaps 20 kits in a weekend. That's 2 weeks' work. Yeah. Would I consider myself a railway enthusiast? Probably not. I don't know. I'm a model railway enthusiast, I suppose. I suppose I'd have to. Yeah. Do you?
No.
No, you don't really do it much apart from filming, do you?
I'm 3D printing.
Yeah. Right, I think we'll finish at 1:15. So you've got a
See,
few
this is
more
what we
minutes.
do every time. We're like, we'll finish then, It just keeps getting later and later.
Super glued himself to a chair. Yeah, I've heard that. I know somebody that super glued their elbow to a worktop. Hi, brother. In the early days, because he was making sure he didn't get it on his fingers, and he hadn't realised he put his elbow in it. Nobody's.
I've super glued my hands to one of our 3D printed kits when I was making it.
I take clumsy to a whole new level. That finger's dead. It got flattened with a sledgehammer.
That thumb got
I
chopped off
chopped
with an
that
axe.
thumb in half with an axe. There's a hole in my hand here where I punched a screwdriver through it trying to fix a motorbike in the dark in a thunderstorm by the side of the road. I have a scar on my leg where I put a splinter through my leg trying to clean a piece of wood. I've fallen off ladders regularly, so much so I don't really like going up them anymore.
My left index has a scar on the fingertip where I slit it open with a craft knife. It's got a scar on the knuckle where I put a screwdriver through it. That was like last week.
We had a family friend who decided to pick an argument with me at a social gathering because I wasn't that clumsy. So I listed everything I'd done and she quietly walked away. So I think her partner, who she was saying was clumsy, has done about 3 things. And I'm just permanently in A&E. It was even worse when I used to ride motorbikes. We've all glued our fingers together with super glue. That's quite common. The one I heard was somebody who managed to glue their eye shut because they got it on their fingers and rubbed their eye.
Oh.
That was an A&E job. Time is 9:11. Yeah, we know. We can tell the time. 4 more minutes and then we'll say goodbye. We'll say goodbye now and then we'll end. But thank you to everybody that's watched. 1,140 of you.
Well, hey, we didn't get overrun this time.
We didn't get overrun, so we might look at doing this again. Might do a bit more banter next time.
Well, like how you're annoying and I'm not.
No, I think it was around how I'm handsome and you're not, but I could be wrong.
Sorry, have you seen yourself?
For my age?
What, 95?
Cheek. Doug's job is 3D printing.
What?
And when
What's
he's in the
your job?
mood, he's very good actually. He keeps on top of it.
And website designing and video editing. Excuse me.
I take an early retirement and then
What does my CV say? It says CEO of Budget Model Railways, so I think you'll find.
Yeah. It was quite interesting actually when he had to do his statement for college and they asked him what work he did and everybody else is like, I work in a cafe, I work at McDonald's. And we hadn't enough room because he basically said, I run my own 3D printing company, and he listed all the countries we've sold to and how much he's sold and how many kits and how the website's done and everything. It was really good. Doug is actually quite tough. He's quite a cut. When he did the overland hike in Explorer Scouts for the first time, he wasn't very old.
That's not what old means, Dad.
Well, it means it to me. You're quite a tough little cookie when you want to be. Which part of the colonies are we in? Are we allowed to say the colonies? It's the Dominions, isn't it? Or is that even accessible?
I'm pretty sure that's like against the law now.
I mean, colonies? I mean, America used to be one of our colonies, didn't it? But I take it you mean one of the new ones.
Cleaning wheels and track. I quite like using a Dremel.
Yeah, it uses a Dremel with a polishing wheel. I use very fine sandpaper and WD-40. I super glued the lid to my lips while concentrating on gluing my fingers. Now that's excellent. I bet that looked good. That's quite good. I like that. Yep, that beats gluing your fingers together.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do another one of these if we're all still in lockdown, which I think we will be in a couple of weeks' time. Then we'll do another one of these. If in the intervening time you want to send us some questions, and then we've got a bit of a one we can start with. Somebody from South Carolina. Hello, South Carolina.
Yes, I've done bronze DV.
You were working on your silver.
Right in the middle of silver, but now that's done online through video call, which is quite interesting. I think we can.
I think he should put his rucksack on and walk around the garden, however many times it takes to do the hike. But
6 hours.
Yeah.
I have to walk around the garden. It'd be boring.
It'd be fun for us to watch.
Boring.
Yeah.
At least get to hike in the downs.
What's our YouTube channel name? Budget Model Railways. Strangely enough.
No, he was asking somewhere else.
Oh.
But equally, it's still a bit silly because he said his YouTube channel name and then said, "What's your YouTube channel name?" Alex the Woo. What's your YouTube channel?
Don't tell him your name, Pike. See, he remembers that out there. A certain generation will know exactly what I'm talking about if I say don't tell him your name,
You're
Pike.
feeling lucky, punk.
That way predates that.
No, really?
I'll tell you a funny story about that later as well when we're offline.
That can't be good.
I had a friend when he was in the army in the 70s.
This better be appropriate for YouTube.
It is, and he was on a sentry duty on an exercise, and you're supposed to say advance one and be recognised and all that. And he just asked somebody, "Go ahead, punk. Do you feel lucky?" And it turned out to be some colonel or something who was less than amused. Right, I think we're done. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and we might see you in a couple of weeks.
1,163 viewers.
There we go. See, Paul Mitchell knows what I'm talking about, and Ian Navader, yeah. Excellent. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll talk to you. Stevie Show from 6. You sound like Doug.
Yeah. However, 1917, very good film.
Yeah, 1917. If you haven't seen 1917, go and watch 1917. It's epic. Really epic. 5 more minutes. This is an encore. It's like being at a rock concert, isn't it? They always save the best track to the last, don't they? That everybody expected them to play, and then they put it on at the end.
We'll be going now, I think.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll speak to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Keep watching everything we do. Please stay safe. Look after yourselves, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Right, is that us gone?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to go. We're going to press end. You ready?
Yep.
It's going to... Bye.
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 And it's good night from me, and good night from... It's good night from me, good night from him.
Him.
Is that right? I can't remember it. 2 runners.
Good night from me, good night from him. Good night from the club team.
It's good night from me, and it's good night from him.
Yeah, now I have to remember how to stop this to actually stop it properly. So if I press